Oklahoma rebounded from that loss to the Red Raiders by rolling the victory over previously undefeated Kansas State last week in Manhattan. And as we take a look at the BCS standings, brought to you by Allstate, the Sooners, with that win last week, moved from 9th up to 6th. They are the highest ranked one-loss team in the BCS standings, and the path does exist for Landry Jones and the Sooners to get back into the national championship game picture. And as the Sooners take the field, we welcome you to Norman. I'm Sean McDonough along with Matt Millen. We'll be joined in just a moment by Heather Cox. We're delighted to have you with us today. It certainly was an impressive bounce-back performance last week in Manhattan by Oklahoma, led by Landry Jones, who threw for a school record 505 yards.
They knew that they needed to have that offense at the top of its game after they fell against Texas Tech, Sean. And Landry Jones is the leader of that offense. And when this offense is on, he is throwing the ball with pinpoint accuracy all over the field. And he's got a few guys that he likes to get the ball to, but the main one is Ryan Broyles inside. But make no mistake about it, Landry Jones is the key to this offense and therefore the key to this team.
They're the second best passing team in America behind only the University of Houston, and that should bode well for Oklahoma today as they're taking on a Texas A&M team that is last in the country in pass defense. But the Oklahoma coaches are making sure their team knows that they need to be ready for the Aggies, who've had 3 losses this year already, but in all those losses they were ahead by double digits. They played a very tough schedule. Brent Venables, the defensive coordinator, says it's the best team that's come into Norman since 2001 K-State, and it is a very good A&M offense.
And it's very balanced. And here's the thing, on all levels, you know, their offensive line is solid, and then Tannehill, number 17, the quarterback, this kid's really good. In fact, Sean, I think he's one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the NCAA. He can make all the throws, he sees the field extremely well, and he's got some help. Because we talked about the balance, he's got 2 extremely good runners, Christian Michael, Cyrus Gray. They hand the ball off, they use play action well, and then Tannehill takes his shots down the field. So I think this is going to be an outstanding game, but the defense that plays the best will probably win this game.
Texas A&M and Oklahoma. The opening kickoff from windy Norman right after this. The wind is sweeping down the plain today here in Norman, Oklahoma. Comfortable temperature at 63 degrees, but the wind sustained 28 miles per hour with gusts up over 30. And the forecast is for more of the same. Mike Sherman and the Texas A&M Aggies won the toss and deferred, which is the wise thing to do. They'll take the wind, have it at their backs here in the first quarter. The breeze has already blown the ball off the tee as Randy Bullock tees it up. He's done a great job kicking off this year. 34% of his kickoffs have gone for touchbacks. Much improved. His career mark was 14% touchbacks entering this season. Would like his chance to kick this one deep into the end zone with this breeze. And he sends it out the back of the end zone over the head of Trey Franks. Here comes Oklahoma on offense. First, let's check in with Heather Cox.
Well, Sean, I am certainly stating the obvious when I say it is quite breezy down here. Gusts expected to be over 30 miles per hour, certainly causing concern for both coaches, especially as it concerns their kicking game. Kickers and punters were the first ones out on the field so they could kick into both sides before their teammates came out. They were also the last to leave, especially Texas A&M punter Ryan Epperson, who was the lone player on the field when the band came out for the anthem to get those extra reps. Now, Mike Sherman told me in all his days in college and NFL, he never worried about the rain, never worried about the snow, but every morning on game day, he checks the wind, saying that is what can get you.
He decided to take the win in the first quarter. Then on the first play from scrimmage, Roy Finch went left for 3 yards for Oklahoma. Going into that whistling wind. It was breezy last week in Manhattan, Kansas, with wind gusts up around 30 miles per hour. And Landry Jones threw for a school record. Looking to pass, swings it out to Finch. Breaks a couple of tackles and bounces down just short of a first down near the 30. Tony Hurd Jr. made the tackle. He's part of a depleted secondary dealing with injuries for Texas A&M. They're without starting safety Stephen Campbell today. Hurd's in for him, and they're without their best corner, Corey Judy, out with a hamstring. So the worst pass defense statistically in America, shorthanded as well. Blake Bell comes in now at quarterback. They did this last week with success. He's a good runner. Powerfully built at 6'6", 245. Some here locally have started calling that Matt the Belldozer for Blake Bell, and he belldozes his way to a first down at the 32.
Well, they came out in personnel, and Texas A&M was still spread, Sean, and they Oklahoma had tightened it up. But the Belldozer, he did his job last week, and he continues to do the same.
Ran for a touchdown in the win at Kansas State last week. Landry Jones back in there. Gave it to Roy Finch. Out to the 36, a gain of 4. Tackled by Sean Porter. Let's look at today's impact players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Ryan Broyles, all-time leader in major college football in receptions, 347 at 14 last week at K-State. With their leading rusher Dominique Whaley out for the year with a broken leg, Roy Finch will lead a running back by committee situation. He did a nice job last week. Jones with time to throw, has a receiver over the middle and a first down. Jazz Reynolds, who's been an emerging threat in recent weeks, out to the 45 and a first down, a gain of 9.
Well, you said it, Sean. The key to this passing game is Landry Jones, and the key to Landry Jones is protection. His offensive line a week ago was just impeccable, and they're off to the same type of start. Now, A&M has got to be able to get him off the mark. They've got to knock him down and get that uniform dirty.
Interesting aspect of this game. These two defenses are the top 2 in the nation in sacks. Oklahoma leads the nation in sacks. A&M is second. They blitz a lot. They brought pressure but didn't get to Landry Jones, who's on target, to Jazz Reynolds again. Into A&M territory at the 48-yard line. A gain of 8. Lost helmet on the play.
That's the second play in a row.
Well, that's one way to slow down the offense, and Bob Stoops doesn't like it. Spencer Neely had to get his helmet back. That's, they believe it was intentionally done to slow down the high tempo of Stoops' offense.
Slot receiver was where Broyles is at, and he's the guy. He's the guy who makes this offense go in terms of the passing game.
Out of the pistol, the handoff to Finch, and he's dropped for a loss on 2nd and 2. He did not get back to the line of scrimmage, and once again Neely's helmet is off, and the crowd is really agitated now, and the referee Randy Crystal is going to stop the play.
They're going to make him go off for a play, and that's just for equipment, and they'll make him have to change a chin strap or something, but it can't keep popping off. That's 3 straight plays.
Neely is the son of Ed Neely, who played in the NBA, part of a championship team with the Chicago Bulls. Very energetic presence on that defensive line. They probably wouldn't want to be without him on 3rd and 3. Jones now, time again, has his man, first down. James Hanna, the tight end, lost the football, and A&M has recovered. Jonathan Stewart came up with it. A rare takeaway by the A&M defense, just their 7th of the year. They came into this game tied for the national low. There is a flag down on the play with Minnesota with 6 takeaways. It's hard to imagine a team that blitzes as much as A&M does wouldn't cause more chaos for the opposing offense, and take the ball away more often, but that has been a real weakness of the Aggie defense.
After the play, personal foul, number 10, A&M. It'll be a 10-yard penalty. First and 10, A&M.
Sean Porter guilty of the penalty. Tim DeRuyter, the defensive coordinator, chatting with him. But DeRuyter's been harping about the need to take the ball away on defense, and the Aggies do here in the first possession of the game. Trent Hunter, Lionel Smith in there, helping to knock it away from Hanna. Minnesota had 5 takeaways starting today's action. They had 1 in their loss to Michigan State to match A&M's number entering this game. Kristen Michael in the first play from scrimmage for the Aggies goes to the 30. The gain of 3. Stacy McGee made the tackle and he lost the helmet. But the home crowd isn't going to ooh and ah about that.
And keep in mind, both these offenses, you have to defend pace whenever you play them.
The Aggies want to go quickly as well. Tannehill on the delay to Michael with room running left. Stays on his feet. They'll give him that additional yardage and a first down out across the 37. Tackle by Tom Ward and Travis Lewis, 2 linebackers.
Well, you mentioned Travis Lewis is the senior and he gets there first, but the one thing he's got to work on, he doesn't wrap up very well. Thomas Wirt, number 21, that kid's going to be a really good player. Just a sophomore.
And emerging in recent weeks, it is a first down for the Aggies. Michael again, driven back by Ronell Lewis, the defensive end. They have outstanding ends in Lewis and Frank Alexander. Flag on the play. A&M offensive linemen are clapping.
Personal foul, defense number 28, face mask, 15-yard penalty, first down.
It's Travis Lewis, who's been playing all year with a broken left big toe that the coaches feel has really set him back. Their leading tackler the last 3 years, Brent Venables, the defensive coordinator, says he's been nowhere near the explosive or disruptive force this year that he's been in the past because of that broken toe.
You know, one thing about Travis Lewis, though, he's like a coach on the field, Sean. He's a smart guy. You look at Brent Venables, the defensive coordinator, but Lewis is one of those guys who spends tons of time in the film room, and he's a person who can get everybody straightened out on the field.
Tannehill throws quickly off the hands of Jeff Fuller and incomplete. Demontre Hurst had the coverage for Oklahoma, but that's a ball that should have been caught by Fuller. More impact players brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Fuller's their all-time leader in receptions with 207, but had a disappointing year due to injuries, a hamstring, a concussion, and lately turf toe. Ryan Swope is their leading receiver this year. Out of the pistol, Tannehill swings it for Michael, and he's taken down by Ronell Lewis back at the 46-yard line. Loss of 6 on the play.
Right into the teeth of this Oklahoma defense. They tried to cut Ronell Lewis, and he's just too good with his hands. Gets his hands down, works off the block, and he's right out into the flat.
Cyrus Gray in at running back now, part of that terrific duo. Both on pace to be 1,000-yard rushers, Gray and Michael. That would be a first in A&M history. Tannehill on 3rd and 16. Throws on the move, incomplete. It was well covered, intended for Ryan Swope. Aaron Colvin had coverage. The safety who can also play corner and has. A&M gets a rare takeaway but doesn't do much with it, and Ryan Epperson will punt with that big wind at his back. Kenny Stills and Ryan Broyles back for the punt. Broyles is the nation's active leader in career punt return yardage, nearly 1,200 yards, and it goes into the end zone over the head of Stills. 54-yard punt for Epperson. A net of 34. The timeout in Norman. Each team has had it once. Neither has scored. Both these teams like to go quickly, Matt.
Yeah, now you talk about pace, and that's the ability to go fast. And when you're defending it, first thing you have to be is disciplined with your scheme. And then you have to have great conditioning. And this time of the year you should be. And then you have to be able to rotate guys through, because what happens when you do get tired, that's when your discipline starts to lack, and you need another line to come through to be able to pick up the pace defensively.
Get those defensive calls in quickly, or just stay in what you've been in. The good news for these two teams, they play in a league where lots of teams like to go quickly, so they have plenty of practice. Everything off kilter there at the snap, and there are a couple of flags down.
Sean, you bring up a great point when you just said you got to get your calls in or stay what you're in, and that's what offenses.
Ball start. Number 59, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, that's what offenses hope that you do, because when you do go with a quick pace, what happens is you're limited defensively with your calls, and at times you just stay in the same look, and that puts the advantage back on the offense, particularly with the quarterback. When he's seeing the same look over and over, he'll carve it up.
After the penalty, 1st and 15, it's Roy Finch, the diminutive running back, running for about 10, maybe even 11 across the 25. Call it 10. Charlie Thomas made the tackle. Finch, just 5'7", 170 pounds, but good in both the run and pass games.
You know, we had them a week ago. He kind of reminds me of the old Joe Washington with his speed and movement.
Now Trey Millard, and he has the first down. Ordinarily the fullback, but without Dominique Whaley as their lead runner, Matt, they said they could use Millard as the tailback for 10 snaps or so per game. He played a lot of tailback in high school and has tailback skills.
And he had a big 60-yard run last week, so he has some speed.
They fake the toss to Finch, deep throw, incomplete. First incomplete pass thrown by Landry Jones, now 4 out of 5.
Yeah, Millard is one of those guys who gives you a lot of different things. He can block for you, good protector, can line up as a tight end. Like you mentioned, Sean, he has good vision and feet and be able to carry the football. He's 250 pounds, gives you power inside and can get to the edge.
And he is lined up in the pistol right behind Landry Jones. Only a 3-man rush here by the blitz-happy Aggies, and Millard, also in the words of Josh Heupel, the offensive coordinator, a natural pass catcher. Caught that one, but for a very short gain to the 33-yard line.
Well, now you get the 3rd down, and now this is where the Aggies like to bring a little pressure. And when they've been effective, Sean Porter, number 10, has been the guy who's been able to get there. You give you scheme, and they'll also give you numbers. And Porter has a great feel when you have numbers advantage on his side. By that I mean if you keep in 3, they'll bring 4. If you keep in 5, they'll bring 6. He has a knack to be able to find the crease when he has those numbers in his advantage.
He's the Big 12 sack leader. Kenny Stills limped off, wide receiver for Oklahoma. That's the reason they stopped the clock for a moment. Now on 3rd and long, Landry Jones is pass deflected and falls incomplete.
And there's that pressure we were talking about, Sean.
Well, they know they're not going to sack him. If they do at all, it won't be very often, but they feel like they can disrupt him with pressure, and that was disruption.
Yeah, the biggest thing is just affect him, and that's what they were able to do. Big number 90, Don Bass, he gets his hand up and affects the throw, and therefore sets up this 4th down.
Tressway in the punt, the left footer, one of the best punters in Oklahoma history, punting into that stiff wind. This isn't going to go very far. And it got worse with the backward bounce. Well, that's why Mike Sherman deferred. Just a 21-yard punt and a timeout.
ESPN's College Football on ABC, brought to you by K Jewelers, the #1 jewelry store in America. Every kiss begins with K. Chevrolet and their award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers. And Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich.
Well, earlier today, not long before kickoff, Oklahoma unveiled a statue of Barry Switzer just across the street from Memorial Stadium. He's the 3rd Sooners coach, so honored, joining Benny Owen and Bud Wilkinson. And Barry is here today Did he take in the game?
Was a heck of a recruiter. He had some of the best rosters in all of college football, and therefore some of the best teams.
First and 10, A&M. Ryan Tannehill's pass is deflected by Jamel Fleming. Oklahoma welcomes him back. He sat out the last 2 weeks against Texas Tech and Kansas State after having his knee scoped 18 days ago. And they think he should be a dominant corner when he's fully healthy.
And he can be, Sean. He's got all the skills. He can play off, he can play bump. He brings a lot to this defense.
Tannehill, inside handoff to Christian Michael, and he's taken down by Frank Alexander for a 1-yard loss. Brent Venables talking yesterday about Alexander being a guy who really benefited from being a fifth-year senior, both in terms of his football ability and maturity off the field.
And this is the year that he's really kind of coming to his own, particularly on this down. He is their best pass rusher.
Second in the conference in sacks, 7.5 for the year. 8th in the country in that category. Third down and 11. 5-man rush. Tannehill time caught. First down. Jeff Fuller just beyond the markers to the 43 of Oklahoma, so they convert on 3rd and 11 with a 12-yard completion.
I want you to watch the top of this route. You're going to watch Fuller come out of this break. Demontre Hurst is right on top of him. The ball is thrown right where it needs to be. Nice little speed cut, first down.
Tannehill wanted to throw it short. It was covered, so throws deeper, and it's caught. Nice play by Ryan Swope. Tackled by Demontre Hurst. Let's get an update. Here's Robert Flores.
Hi, Sean. Taco Bell studio update. Purdue is tied with Wisconsin. Caleb Turbich to Crosby Wright. Badgers coming off 2 last-minute losses, but they're tied at Madison. Sean, back to you.
All right, Robert, here it's the Aggies on the move. 1st and 10 from the Oklahoma 27. On the delay, Michael pulled back by Tom Ward. And Casey Walker, the defensive tackle, also in on the play to stop it for no gain.
Sean, you talked at the start of the game about what Brent Venables, the Oklahoma defensive coordinator, talked about with this offense being the best one that he's seen come into Norman since '05. And the reason he says that, not only because of the skilled people, but this young offensive line is one of the best offensive lines in the NCAA. 2nd
and 10. Tannehill a couple of fakes, throwing a deep ball to the end zone, and it's just out of the reach of Ryan Swope. The junior from Austin got behind the defender.
He had all kinds of time because of that offensive line. No pressure whatsoever. And that's one that Tannehill wants back, because you're right, Sean. He had a lot of time to throw it, and he just missed it.
Maybe didn't factor in that strong breeze behind it that might have pushed it along. 3rd down and 10. They are in field goal range for Randy Bullock. Cyrus Gray in at running back now. He's the better pass receiver of the 2 featured backs. Tannehill out of the gun. Shovel pass, and it is incomplete. Forward pass dropped by Gray. It'll be 4th and 10. Just when they say Gray's the better receiver, he couldn't hang on.
Now, the key to that is to try to draw the defender up to the quarterback and then slip it back down underneath. And it was right there. Corey Nelson, number 7, who is, Sean, I think that kid's going to be really good. He's got great instincts.
Randy Bullock now, 43-yard field goal with the breeze. Distance shouldn't be a problem. He's had a great year, 16 out of 17. And that one is good, just inside the left upright for the senior from Klein, Texas. Mike Sherman thinks he has a future in the National Football League. 3-0 Aggies on the road in Norman, Oklahoma. Among those in attendance here today, Heisman Trophy winners Jason White and Billy Sims. Sims, the 1978 winner, 2 of the 5 Sooners who've won the Heisman Trophy. Of course, most recently was Sam Bradford in 2008. Steve Owens, Billy Vessels, the others.
Sean, Billy Sims went on to the National Football League and took it by storm. Had a knee injury and then was not quite the same. But had Billy Sims not had that knee injury, he would be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, because he was, there are very few guys who could do what Simbo could do.
Randy Bullock, after the 43-yard field goal, takes advantage of that win for another touchback out in the back of the end zone. The 3 points set up by the short Oklahoma punt into the wind. And here's Heather Cox.
Well, Sean, the Oklahoma athletic training staff has spent the last series stretching and massaging Kenny Still's left hamstring. He's been pounding the Gatorade in the water, tried to stay warm on the bike. They even cut a seam in his pants to loosen the fit. But he just tested it by high-stepping it, and he immediately stopped, wincing in pain. They continue to massage that left hamstring. He wants to go, but as of now hasn't been cleared, Sean.
And that would be a significant loss. Averages 94 yards per game receiving. Had 61 catches last year to set their freshman record. Likable young man. We enjoyed our visit with Kenny Stills yesterday.
Much. And Sean, there's a guy who can really run. He gives them great speed on the field.
Jones throwing deep. Has Broyles in the secondary and deep. And finally chased out of bounds by Terrence Frederick at the 23-yard line.
Well, we talked about Landry Jones and his favorite receiver, and it's right there, Ryan Broyles. He's the guy who makes this offense run.
$57-yard gain. Back they come quickly, and that ball is incomplete. Charlie Thomas agitated that he didn't have an interception in the second takeaway of the day for the Aggie defense.
I wonder if that thing got tipped or something came out of his hand. Weird.
It might have been tipped at the line.
Looked like it.
Kirby Ennis had a hand up in the face of Landry Jones. 2nd and 10.
I didn't see the official giving the tip sign, so it looked like just maybe a knuckleball came out of there.
Jones, the all-time leading passer in Oklahoma history. 5-man rush. He throws. Caught by Jazz Reynolds, trying to break free from Lionel Smith. Did well to power forward for an additional yard or two to the 16. It'll be 3rd and 3. Reynolds has added over 30 pounds since he arrived here in Norman from Houston, Texas.
Another one of the young Sooners that has not gotten to where he's going to be. He is a very talented receiver, got good speed, can make the acrobatic catch like we saw just a week ago. And he's a guy who could easily pick up the pace of Kenny Stills being out.
Wasn't offered a scholarship by A&M or the Texas Longhorns, as he's always additionally motivated when they play these schools. Here's Roy Finch on the run inside the 5 and pulled down by Trent Hunter. It'll be 1st and goal from the 4 for Oklahoma.
Finch, not a real big man, and defensively hard to find, Sean. He gets behind those big offensive linemen, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's on top of you. Pretty good inside the tackle runner.
Red zone touchdown scoring had been a problem prior to last week. They scored touchdowns all 5 times they got into the red zone last week in Manhattan. Finch back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Good penetration. Charlie Thomas, Spencer Neely, Tony Jared Eddy, who's playing on a bad ankle. All a part of the play for A&M. Blake Bell has come in at quarterback now.
The Belldozer has been running a lot of stuff inside the tackles.
He is a quarterback, the 3rd-string quarterback, capable of throwing if they want to catch the A&M defense by surprise with that. He's going to run, and he belldozes his way down to the 2-yard line. 3rd and goal to come as the clock rolls down to 4 minutes left in the first quarter. A&M leading 3-0.
And we've seen that same play inside the tackle stuff, but you're right, Sean. What's going to happen next? Is he going to take 2 steps, and then he's going to pop up and throw that thing?
Interesting. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the country in Landry Jones, Heisman Trophy candidate, but they have him on the sideline again for 3rd and goal. 2 fullbacks in the game now. Aaron Rapowski is number 48, and it's Bell following those 2 fullbacks. Ripkowski and Millard leading the way for the Oklahoma touchdown.
they weren't surprising anybody. They had Millard in there, all 250 pounds of them, and then Ripkowski's in there, another 255-pounder behind that 300-pound offensive line, and the Belldozer, it gives you 6.
Second rushing touchdown in as many weeks for Bell, the freshman from Wichita. Extra point good by Michael Honeycutt, and Oklahoma has the lead. 80-yard drive in 7 plays, capped by the freshman Bell. Oklahoma leads 7-3. Number 6 team in the BCS standings. With the lead for the first time today is Blake Bell, captain. 80-yard drive with a 2-yard run. The big play was the 57-yard pass, Landry Jones to Ryan Broyles. So Michael Honeycutt will kick off into this strong win with 3.5 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Picks it up into the wind. Comes down at the 20 to Dustin Harris, and it's well covered. Trey Miller, their starting fullback, down there with the initial contact. More great college football action tonight on the ESPN networks and ABC. A full slate of games on ABC, 8 Eastern. You'll see the number 14 Kansas State taking on number 3 Oklahoma State right up the street, Stillwater, or others will see Notre Dame and Wake Forest. Both games are available nationally on either ABC or ESPN2. You can watch it streaming live on WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app. That's tonight's Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines, 8 Eastern on ABC. Ryan Tannehill gave it to Kristen Michael. It's out to the 29, a gain of 4. Tom Wart and Aaron Colvin on the tackle. 2nd and 6.
You talk about offense, Sean. That Oklahoma State offense, Brandon Whedon, Blackman, they've got all kinds of guys who can get down the field.
Quick hitter on the run. Michael spins to the 31. It'll be 3rd and 4 after we check in with Robert.
All right, Sean, Wisconsin back on top. Russell Wilson, 2nd touchdown pass of the day. This one to Jared Abadaris, but Purdue is driving in deep in Badger territory. Use the hashtag ESPNCFB on Twitter so we can live chat during the games. Northwestern leading number 10 Nebraska in Lincoln 7-0.
Nebraska perhaps looking ahead to next week at Penn State. 3rd down and 4. Tannehill crowded, throws, intercepted, and run back by Javon Harris. Out of bounds at the 20-yard line.
Tannehill felt a little pressure on the backside from Frank Alexander. Talked about him earlier. Here he comes off the edge, and he's going to force him off the spot. And then once he does that, just not a good throw. Well played defensively, and takes it back for a big pick.
Intended for Uzoma Wachaku. 24-yard return by Harris, junior from Lawton, Oklahoma. The high school teammate of Dominique Whaley, and was really distraught after Whaley suffered that devastating injury last week. 8th interception of the year thrown by Tannehill from the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 Sooners. Jones forced to move, and he threw it away. The general direction of Jazz Reynolds.
John, you said it right there, and that's what we've been saying. They haven't been knocking these quarterbacks down, but they've been forcing them to move off their spots. And both these quarterbacks, when they can sit in there and they're not affected, they'll tear you up. So you got to get them moving.
Oklahoma's given up only 3 sacks all year, fewest in the country. Only 2 of those when Landry Jones was in the game. On the draw to Finch, a 1-yard gain to the 19. This week the Sooners have welcomed back Ben Hayburn. He's been out of action with a broken forearm. He was their starting center. Missed the last 5 games. He's in there now. Gabe Eichert did a nice job in his absence. Started today's game at center. And he'll play both center and guard. They say even with that big cast on his right arm, Hayburn's snapping has been fine in practice. And a good snap there to Jones. And again, pressured and sacked. Just the 4th of the year given up by Oklahoma. The 3rd time Jones has been taken down, and it was Caleb Russell leading the way.
Well, they got the pressure, but the first thing you have to do is take away the quick throw first. Good coverage down the field, and so when Landry Jones is looking, nowhere to go. And then here comes Caleb Russell. Bash is there also. Just good pressure, made him move off the mark, and then the sack.
Bob Stoops and his staff trying to decide what to do here. It's a loss of 10, so 4th and 19. From here, it would be about a 46-yard field goal into a strong wind, and it would be a tough task for Honeycutt to make it. So Bob thinking about what he wants to do. Tough to convert 4th and 19. And you hate to punt from the 29-yard line.
Yes, you may as well take a. And so, Sean, even if you don't make the first down, if you get it down to the 15-yard line or inside the 20, that's better than a punt.
A timeout called by the Sooners to make that decision. That's the breeze that Honeycutt would be kicking into. His long field goal is 53, which was last week with a similar wind at his back in Manhattan, Kansas. 7th longest field goal in Oklahoma history and the longest in the Bob Stoops era, now in its 13th season. How about the fact that they are 75-3 here at home under Stoops? He's never lost back-to-back home games. They lost today. They would be the first back-to-back losses at home under Stoops.
You'll need a directional kick here. He'll try to angle it and get it out of bounds.
I haven't ever seen a team punt from the 29-yard line, but they do, and it should work out well. Jazz Reynolds tipped it back, and Corey Nelson well positioned. Well, that's what Bob Stoops had in mind when he decided to punt. Hope for something down near the goal line, and it doesn't get much closer than it is right now. The 1. Nifty play by Reynolds.
Yeah. Winchester was going to do it, and he stepped in the end zone. Which is okay, because as long as the ball doesn't go into the end zone, you can do that. And Reynolds, of course, knocked it back and gave him great field position.
Final minute of the quarter. 53 seconds left with the wind at their backs. Tannehill standing in the end zone as he changes the play. Deep handoff to Michael. He's ahead for a yard, perhaps 2. But the ideal thing here, Matt, for the Sooners defense would be a 3 and out and make them punt from the other end of the field right up into that breeze.
You know, lost in all that play there with the punt was A&M's defense. That was a great stand by A&M. They were able to keep them from getting any points, and they got the ball back for their offense.
2nd and 8. Michael again. Now the question I would ask you here is, they stopped him well short of the first down. If you're Mike Sherman, is it worth using your timeouts right now in case you have to punt into the wind? I mean, it could be a 40 or 50-yard difference in field position depending on which direction you punt, and there is a timeout call. But it might be for an injury. Ward down on the field.
Well, that would hurt to lose him. That is one really good young player. Just a sophomore, 230-pounder, but a physical presence, can really run. He's gotten better in the passing game. He continues to get better and better. This kid's got a chance.
An obvious concern from his teammates and from Coach Bob Stoops. It's very quiet here. Of course, back in May, this program lost Austin Box, who would have been the starting inside linebacker. Died in May, an overdose of painkillers. Very good friend of Tom Wart. In his honor, one member of the defense has been wearing the number 12 in every game this season. Wart was the first to do it in the opener. DeMontre Hurst wearing Box's number 12 today. Wart was in tears when he came onto the field for the opener in Box's number. on his feet, but they're going to have to help him off. And of course, Lewis is playing injured with the broken toe at linebacker.
But Wart is one of those guys who's he's got the right attitude, Sean. It's the right mentality to play this game. He's a physical kid. If there's any way he can get back out, he'll be back out.
He did not play in that loss to Texas Tech here 2 weeks ago. They played without 3 defensive starters. Jamel Fleming and Casey Walker also did not go in that game. And Texas Tech put 572 yards of total offense up, and they won't get the playoff. Well, I'm a little surprised. I mean, Mike Sherman and Heather Mention talked about how the first thing he looks at on game day morning is the wind. He talked to us about that during the week. He had a chance to use a timeout or two here and punt with the wind. Instead, he might have to punt into a very stiff breeze early in the second quarter. Welcome back to Norman, Oklahoma, where the Sooners are leading Texas A&M 7-3 as we continue Dr. Pepper's road to the championships. Travis Lewis and the defense for Oklahoma hoping for a big stop here on 3rd down. A&M going into that 30+ mile-per-hour wind now, 3rd and 6 from their own 5-yard line. Key play here on the first play from scrimmage of the second quarter. Tannehill, the fake, has time, and his receiver for a huge first down for A&M. Ryan Swope out to the 20, tackled by Javon Harris. 15-yard gain for Texas A&M.
Now you're going to watch him. He's right over here, and it takes him a while to come all the way across the field, which means he has to have good protection to be able to find him. The A&M offensive line does that, and Swope comes up with a big first down.
Sooners crowd the line of scrimmage, and they're ready for the run of Christian Michael. And the ball's out. Jamel Fleming, but it's ruled down. They are going to rule it as Oklahoma's ball at the 18-yard line. The ball came out. He recovered, was down when he recovered.
There's Michael, and now first, I don't know if it's Fleming. Yeah, it is Fleming.
Yeah,
Fleming strips it out, and he's down right there, Sean. That is a great play, great awareness. Gets his hand in and yanks it out.
So the second turnover committed by A&M on their last 2 possessions. Tannehill threw an interception, and now Fleming with the fumble recovery. Brandon Williams, the true freshman in at running back, an explosive playmaker behind Landry Jones in the pistol. He got a hard-earned 1.5 yards. Tony Jared Eddy knocked him down. Gain of 1 for Williams. They say he is explosive, but he has ball security issues, prone to fumbles. Sometimes tries to make too much out of a play. There he just took the yard that was there for him.
And that's what happens with kids who have big playability. They try to make a big play on every single play. You just got to learn a little bit of patience. He exercised it on that last one.
Pistol again with Williams behind Jones. 2nd and 9. Jones pressured from behind, throws it away. Sean Porter was in hot pursuit. There is a flag down at the line of scrimmage. Looked like the Aggies might have been offside.
Well,
offside. Defense, number 10. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
you can see Sean Porter. The one thing he does is he just he knew he jumped it, but he just kept on going. Instead of trying to jump back, he just kept on coming. Didn't prevent the flag, but it made it look a little better. Style points.
So 2nd and 4 now. Oklahoma at the Texas A&M 12-yard line. Roy Finch, and in the Porter. Good tackle. Sturdy hit, and he wrapped up as well. Junior from Schertz, Texas, whom Tim DeRuta, the coordinator, calls their most dependable defensive player.
Yeah, not only did he make the tackle, he did a great job working off the block of Millard, the fullback. Used his hands well, stuck him at the line of scrimmage. Good job of attacking and then releasing.
And a third down here. A&M desperately trying to hold them to a field goal attempt.
Big down here for the A&M defense, and they're tightening up their coverage. Here comes the blitz.
And Jones throws while backing up, and Jazz Reynolds. Crowd wants a flag. It's an incomplete pass. Terrence Frederick, outstanding senior corner from Katy, Texas, had the coverage.
He had the coverage. He was all over it. And again, they moved the quarterback, Landry Jones, just off his spot. Sometimes he gets a little happy feet back there. He saw the pressure coming. He knew what he had. Ball came out. Frederick was all over it.
There's Honeycutt trying a 29-yarder. He was the backup at the beginning of the year. Jimmy Stevens suffered a muscle strain. He's still recovering. And Honeycutt isn't going to let go of the job. He's been excellent. Adds 3 there. But a good bit of defense there by the Aggies after the turnover, and it's 10-3. Back in Norman, Oklahoma, we take a look at today's Pacific Life game summary. It is a 10-3 lead for Oklahoma, but the A&M defense has done a very nice job protecting the Aggies against those 2 turnovers they've committed. They led to just 3 points for Oklahoma.
Well, Sean, we said at the top of the game, the team that played the best defense would win this game. Oklahoma has played good defense, and the Aggies of A&M, they've done the same. You mentioned it. Those 2 turnovers, those were huge to just hold them to 3 points.
Oklahoma's done a particularly good job stopping the Texas A&M run. Just 18 yards rushing for the Aggies. They average 225 rush yards per game. They're the only offense in the country in the top 20 in rushing and passing offense, scoring and total offense. They're in the top 17 in all of them. The only team in the country that can make that claim. Patrick O'Hara's kickoff down by Dustin Harris. Here's Heather.
Sean, Tom Wart's dealing with a couple of injuries from that last collision. The athletic training staff's evaluating both knee and ankle injuries. They addressed the left ankle first, completely immobilized it with a heavy tape job, also taped that big left toe, but they continue to go back to that left knee. They've done ACL, MCL, and PCL tests to detect for tears. Then they had him up to see if they could put any weight on it, put him back down onto the bench. He has not been cleared yet. Now, guys, remember, he sat out the Texas Tech game, but came back last week, had 2 big sacks. They'll miss him if he can't come back onto the field.
Jaden Bird is a special team standout, is in at linebacker for him. Ryan Tannehill wanted to throw left, throws right to Cyrus Gray, who slips down for a loss of a yard. With Travis Lewis nearest him. And Bird has seen considerable playing time this year. Stepped in against Texas, had 6 tackles, and went most of the way against Texas Tech. So he has game experience, but he's not the player Ward is. Second down and 11. Tannehill pointing right at the middle linebacker Bird, identifying him with Ward out of the ball game. Good protection. Tannehill a deep throw and an incomplete pass in the direction of Wachiku. Here's Robert Flores.
Hey, Sean, AT&T All-America Player of the Week update. Matt Barkley, school record 6 touchdown passes last night as USC beat Colorado 42-17. 4th time in his career has thrown 5 or more touchdowns in a game. You can text VOTE to 55862 for a chance at a trip at the national title.
He was terrific last night in their win on the road. 3rd down and 11. And the Aggies, if they don't convert, are going to have to punt into that strong wind. Short throw, a lot of running to do for Nehemiah Hicks, and he's tripped up by DeMontre Hurst. Short of the 1st down at the 26-yard line. 4th and 4. And Mike Sherman's fears realized. He knew the wind was going to be a big factor today. Can't be relishing the prospect of punting into the breeze.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of kick he'll have him do if he tries to drive it and let it bounce. But lost in all that, again, another good series by this Oklahoma defense.
Ryan Epperson punting right into the breeze. We look at it from our main cameras, going from right to left. Good kick into that wind. Back to the 30-yard line. Ryan Broyles. And chopped out of bounds along the near sideline at the 39 by Malcolm Kennedy. 44-yard punt into that 30-mile-an-hour wind by Ryan Epperson.
ESPN's College Football on ABC, brought to you by AT&T. Get it faster with 4G. Rethink possible. Nissan, proud partner of the Heisman Trophy. And Aflac, official partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Statue in memory of the man for whom Norman, Oklahoma is named, Abner Norman, who was a 23-year-old federal surveyor, led a crew that set up camp here back in the early 1870s. The area became known as Norman's Camp, and early settlers here decided to keep the name Norman in honor of the young surveyor.
I would have gone with Abner personally. I think it just has a little bit of a ring to it. How about you?
Kenny Stills back in the game. It does. I don't see many kids named Abner anymore.
Nope, not too many.
Kenny Stills back on the field. Gab Eichert back at center.
Sean,
2-yard gain to the 41-yard line.
You mentioned about Ben Haburn coming back, but Eichert, the center, has played very, very well. Athletic kid. You're looking at Kenny Stills, who's back in, but Eichert, the guy, came here as a tight end. He obviously got bigger and stronger. They moved him inside, and he has performed admirably in there. And again, another young offensive lineman.
Jones throws the slant, and it's dropped by Ryan Broyles. According to our ESPN research department, this does a great job of the next level research. Over the last 3 years, Ryan Broyles had been targeted 412 times by Oklahoma quarterbacks and had 1 drop. So we just saw a rarity.
Yeah, you're right. He's been like that. Well, he's one of those guys who's money.
Last 8 snaps from scrimmage for Oklahoma, minus 6 yards of offense. They lead 10-3. Here comes a Texas A&M blitz. Jones throws too high in the direction of Kenny Stills, but over his head, and a 3-and-out for OU.
Well, he had one-on-one. Watch how he tries to hold the middle safety right in the middle of the field, and then he comes back, and he's just an errant throw. Wasn't a very good throw at all. That's another good series. That's Tim DeRuiter, the defensive coordinator for the Texas A&M Aggies.
They're shorthanded today due to injuries, playing one of the best offenses in the country and holding their own, particularly in light of the 2 turnovers the A&M offense has committed. Tressway now kicking with the wind. Dustin Harris made a few miss initially and advanced to the 19. Joseph Ibiloye made the tackle, 49-yard punt. Well, the win last week in Martinsville, Tony Stewart has moved from 4th place to 2nd. He's talking a little smack this week in the direction of the leader, Carl Edwards. 3 races left. Should Edwards be worried? Smoke thinks so. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues at Texas tomorrow, 3 Eastern on ESPN. Coverage starting at 2 with NASCAR Countdown presented by Napa.
Sean, you were saying Edwards is big down there.
Yeah, he's won 3 times at Texas, more than any other driver. Seems like his chances of doing well there. Tannehill's pass, incomplete. Never was possessed by Ryan Swope, junior from Austin, Texas. Grew up not far from the University of Texas. His dad, a Texas graduate. He decided to go to A&M. Said he visited and just fell in love with it. And his dad no longer owns any burnt orange.
And they fell in love with him. He's really the key right now. That's the guy they need to get the ball into his hands and move these chains.
Kristen Michael, nice bounce. And a first down and more up the far sideline. Still dancing out near midfield. Ronell Lewis And Travis Lewis chased him down. 31-yard gain.
One of the things you can do is use team speed against itself, which is what they did. He comes one way, Michael starts to his right, and then everybody flows. He uses it against him and comes back the other way.
And the first run they've been able to break today. Michael spins ahead to the 49-yard line of Oklahoma. Mike Sherman compares Michael's running style to Amon Green, the fine running back he coached in Green Bay.
Out of Nebraska, played for a long time in a physical manner.
Second and 8. Cyrus Gray, the running back now. Tannehill to fake to him. Has a man open deep down the field, and it is caught by Wachiku at the 21-yard line.
Wachiku is able to get the defender on top of him, and then he slips, and once that happens, he just breaks it out, and just a nice flick by Tannehill, and they're on the doorstep.
28-yard gain, longest reception of the year for Wachiku. 5 wide now for A&M from the 21-yard line.
Looks like they were going to bring pressure. Now they backed off.
They do. Rush just 4. Pass deflected by Alexander, and it falls incomplete.
Sean, Oklahoma has gotten their hands up or done something a couple times with Tannehill. And what makes me wonder if the ball's coming out low, because he's a tall kid, and he has an over-the-top delivery.
A 6'4", 222 pounds from Big Spring, Texas, and West Texas. Michael back in the game now on 2nd and 10. Tannehill fake to him, throws to single coverage, and incomplete. 10 over Jeff Fuller. Plenty of jousting with DeMontre Hurst. No flags. Looked like Hurst was out of bounds as that ball was in the air.
Yeah, it was just well defended. Watch DeMontre Hurst take position.
They never did go out.
Yeah, that's pretty good defense.
Ball that could have been caught. Boy, Fuller really's had a disappointing year. Decided to come back for his senior season. Bypassed the draft. Injuries have hampered him.
He should have made that catch regardless of injury.
3rd and 10. They show blitz. They bring pressure. Tannehill again locks it up out of the back of the end zone. The general direction of Brandel Jackson, number 4. So the field goal team comes out. Bullock already kicked one with the wind. Now will attempt about a 38-yarder into the wind. And he missed it. Just the 2nd miss all year in 19 attempts. Even when you know you have enough leg to make it going to that wind, sometimes the wind can make you do funny things.
Yeah, sure can.
Swing easy when it's breezy. Here's a look at today's Aflac trivia question. Other than Texas, the last team to beat Oklahoma in consecutive seasons, A&M down the Sooners last year in College Station, 33-19. And A&M's lost the last 6 times they've been here. Haven't won in Norman since 1997. Landry Jones throws short. Kenny Stills the catch. 26-yard line, 5 yards short of a first down, 2nd and 5.
You know, Sean, one of the things that teams have been doing to Oklahoma is they've been bracketing Ryan Broyles. And, of course, they put Broyles in the slot. And what that does is it opens the middle of the field up. And that's where Oklahoma has been trying to take advantage with their tight ends, and that time still.
Roy Finch lowered his head, got to the 29, chopped down by Terrence Frederick. 3rd down and 2 upcoming. Frederick from Katy, Texas, near Houston, was going to go to Louisville, had committed verbally And right before signing date, his buddy Trent Hunter, safety now at Texas A&M, showed a tape of his buddy Frederick to the coaching staff. Mike Sherman said, let's offer him. And it's worked out very well. Blake Bell in there now at quarterback. Run in for the Oklahoma touchdown. Perhaps we'll try to run for a first down or hand it off. He keeps. And Bell dozes ahead for a first down to the 33-yard line midway through the second quarter. 1st and 10 Oklahoma, up by a touchdown.
Well, the one thing that Blake Bell didn't come to Oklahoma for was to be a belldozer.
No.
Sooner or later, he's going to want to throw that rock. But he's doing exactly what they asked him to do, and he's doing it well.
Highly regarded quarterback prospect, but right now playing behind the junior Landry Jones from Artesia, New Mexico. Play action fake by Landry. Throws short, Finch the catch, tackled immediately.
Sean, the one thing that we're seeing here right now so far in this game is not the real fast pace that we've been seeing. Now, generally they like to put the pedal to the metal after they've had a big play, but they really haven't had any today.
Well, don't you think part of it's rhythm? Josh Heupel talked yesterday about as a play call, you try to get a rhythm, but right now they can't find the rhythm as an offense. Makes it hard to get into the rhythm of calling plays. You don't really know what's working. Sean Porter might have been offside. There is a flag now. The throw incomplete in the direction of Stills. They want a flag in the secondary as well. It doesn't look like they're going to get that one. Lionel Smith had the coverage. But Porter, who made the very nice tackle in space on the previous play, offside for the second time today.
Defense, number 10. 5-yard penalty, second down.
He's been trying to time that thing up. This is the second time he got caught. And again, they were going to go with man coverage, and they saw it the whole way. And so they had Stills one-on-one to the top side. Smith's all over it.
A good defense. Negated by the penalty. Third against the Aggies. 2nd and 2, 41-yard line. Oklahoma operating with the wind here in the second quarter. Jones, and it is bobbled and incomplete. James Hanna couldn't hang on. Trent Hunter and Lionel Smith the coverage.
And what they're trying to do, it's a high-low read. And they're trying to see if Lionel Smith bites up, he throws behind, which is exactly what happened. And then just watch the bobbling at the end of it right there. Smith's able to fall back on it and creates this third down. This is another big third down and short situation for this A&M defense.
Blake Bell back in there. 4 out of 9 on third down today. 46% for the year. Bell hands it off this time to Ryan Broyles, who has the first down.
And that was well played by Porter. Porter has to turn that thing back inside, and then he needs help from his friends coming inside out. He turned it back inside, but they were able to pick up the first down.
There's Josh Heupel, co-offensive coordinator, along with Jay Norvell. Heupel calls the plays, former fine quarterback here. Son of a coach, and he still gets a lot of help from his dad, Ken Heupel, who is here today, in fact, to watch the Sooners. 6 minutes to go till halftime. Roy Finch threw a nice hole across midfield and down at the 48-yard line of the Aggies with a 7-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 3. Charlie Thomas, the tackle. He's in today for the injured Stephen Jenkins, out with a concussion.
One thing Oklahoma has been able to do is to get in these 2nd and 3rd and shorts. And so they've made it, they've given themselves a chance to be able to convert on short yardage situations.
Finch just across the line of scrimmage, but not down, and he has the first down. Bounced off the pile and moved to the 44-yard line. 1st and 10 Oklahoma.
Sean, this is a Joe Washington type of play.
I want to stop you because you keep making that comparison.
Yeah.
He's not as good as Joe Washington.
No, he's not.
Was a great player.
He was, and this kid has a little bit of that in him.
The size reminds you of him.
Yeah, and his ability to do plays like that, like Joe would run in and out of the offensive line. He was always making big plays. That type of player. Certainly, he's not to the caliber of Joe Washington, who played a long time.
Yeah, I just didn't want anybody to think you were saying he was as good as Joe. Landry Jones throws incomplete. Well covered in the secondary.
It's funny you mentioned about Joe Washington. There are some players at Oklahoma here, Joe Washington being one of them, who wore the silver shoes with a little wings on them, who was just an amazing player.
Played on 2 national championship teams here, twice an All-American.
Yeah, and then at the next level, he was one of those guys that you had to account for all the time, and he played for a long time.
9 years in the NFL. Brennan Clay pulled down by Charlie Thomas at the 40. Ready, 3rd and 6. Clay is really part of a 4-way committee to replace Dominique Whaley with Finch and Brandon Williams, Millard, who'll play some tailback, and Clay, who's a sophomore from San Diego.
Big 3rd down here for defense of the A&M.
Boy, they might have been offside again. They were. Flagged down. Free play. Landry Jones. He knows it. Going deep. And incomplete. Jazz Reynolds spins looking for a flag. And the crowd agitated as well as Lionel Smith looked to be making a lot of contact down the field with Jazz Reynolds.
Offside. Defense. 90. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
You know, Sean, one of the things that's going on at the line of scrimmage, I wonder about the cadence. They're trying to get a bead on that thing, and he has been able to keep them off balance. And then he knew he had a free play, as did Smith, and Reynolds wasn't able to convert it. Smith had pretty good coverage.
The offside penalty moves the ball to the 35. This time it's Blake Bell again on 3rd and short.
He's going to
3rd in the yard. First down. Demontre Moore made the tackle, but Bell picked it up with a yard to spare. You have to think sooner or later they're going to have Bell throw it.
Absolutely. It's coming. But heck, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Just keep on running that thing. He keeps on picking up 1st downs.
Unusual ball control drive by Oklahoma. Usually they strike very quickly. They're at the 33-yard line now of A&M. Under 4 minutes to go in the half. 10-3 Oklahoma. Jones throws. It is. What's the ruling? No signal yet. Now incomplete pass. Broyles looked like he had it for a moment. Tony Hurd Jr. there to rip it out.
Well, Hurd, this is great job of not giving up, knowing that he has it. Now watch him fight. That's a fantastic job by Hurd, because Broyles has it right there. He just rips it out at the end.
Back quickly come the Sooners. Jones dumped it short to Finch. Good effort by Roy up the far sideline to get very near another 1st down. They'll mark it just inside the 24, about a half-yard short of the 1st down. Hurd again made the tackle for Tim DeRuyter.
And here comes the beef. You wonder where the beef is. Here it comes. Millard coming back out. Ripkowski coming back out. And Blake Bell coming back out.
Same personnel on the field when Bell scored the touchdown. This is the 14th play of the drive for Oklahoma. 3rd and 1. Bell follows those fullbacks again. 1st down. Jonathan Stewart made the stop.
Remember a few years back down in Florida when they kept on bringing a young freshman quarterback in to run things like that by the name of Tim Tebow.
Whatever happened to him?
I think he's still playing. Not a very polarizing guy, I don't believe.
Oh, haven't heard anybody on ESPN debating whether or not he's capable of being an NFL quarterback. Jones, play fake. Eluded one rusher, throws on the run and throws it away.
Tim DeRuyter has been calling a really pretty good game here, Sean. He has dialed up timely blitzes to get the pressure that he needs. Third and short is where he's not. They've not done a real good job, but he's brought some pretty good pressure.
Highly regarded defensive coordinator. He was a very hot coaching candidate at the end of last year when A&M went off that winning streak to close the year. Won 9 games, offered the coaching job at Tulsa. Decided to come back to A&M. They've had a rough year on defense, part due to injuries. Jones on 2nd and 10, throws, man open, and it's incomplete. Out of bounds, bobbled, and when it was finally gathered in by Finch, he was across the boundary.
Yeah, the one time that he got on top of the coverage, Finch is able to get there because of a pick, but he's not able to haul the thing in, at least not in bounds. There's the bobble. There he's out of bounds.
They're 4 for 4 on 3rd down, but it's too long to put the belldozer in there. 3rd down and 10. So Landry Jones, and they come after him. And he throws incomplete, intended for Stills, who was staggering. Crowd thought there was contact. The officials don't think so. Stills pleading his case to the nearest official as he walks off.
No, there wasn't anything, Sean. That was Terrence Frederick. Actually had pretty good coverage when he tried to come out of his break. It looks like he lost his footing.
17 plays in over 6 minutes. They'll have to settle for a field goal try by Honeycutt with the wind. The market just inside the 30. With a 39-yard attempt. Nico Simons, the holder. And that makes it a 2-score game. 13-3 Oklahoma. 2:25 to go till halftime. Time to answer today's Aflac trivia question. We wanted to know, other than Texas, the last team to beat Oklahoma in consecutive years. That's what A&M is trying to do with a win today. Oklahoma State in 2001 and 2002.
And that is going to be a great game at the end of the season here, that old Bedlam.
It's on December 3rd in Stillwater. End of the regular season for both. Oklahoma State undefeated. Oklahoma 1 loss in conference. Both teams control their own destiny in the Big 12. O'Hara's kickoff down by Dustin Harris. Well, let's go back to last year. First play from scrimmage. The ball snapped through the hands of Landry Jones. That made it 2-0. Aggies led 12-0 when Coriel Judy took the second half kickoff back 100 yards. And after Oklahoma got within 2, Cyrus Gray a nifty 23-yard touchdown run. And Ryan Swope put the game away with a 64-yard touchdown reception from Ryan Tannehill, and the Aggies won 33-19. Signature win for Mike Sherman. At one point last year they were 3-3. So that win was the key to sparking their second half momentum. Cyrus Gray. Joseph Ibiloye made the tackle after a 1-yard gain.
Well, this Oklahoma defense today has really showed up. They have played very, very well. Only giving up 3 points, but they've been tough against the run. And they've only been committing 6 people to that 7 people tops.
Tannehill's throw incomplete. Wachiku couldn't catch it. Really tough to get a handle on this Oklahoma defense. They're number 1 in the Big 12 in scoring defense, 19 points per game in a league where the teams all seem to score a lot. But they've had 2 games this year. They gave up over 500 yards against Texas Tech and Missouri. Had some very good performances. Texas comes quickly to mind. But they've had some duds defensively as well.
This isn't one of them.
Tannehill 0 for his last 4, 3rd down and 9. Can't find anybody to throw it to. Now throws deep and has a man open. Swope, and Swope behind the defense. Lewis trying to get him with a broken toe. Colvin won't get him either. Touchdown, Texas A&M, 79 yards.
Sean, sometimes big plays happen because defensively you get your eyes back in the backfield. And I think this may be one of those cases.
And knowing that Tannehill is a running threat once he was flushed from the pocket, they might have been expecting that. Swope got loose. Bullock the extra point. And it is a 3-point game as we approach halftime.
Let's watch Ryan Swope, number 25. He's up top in the slot. And then you're going to see the pressure come and Tannehill get outside. Now watch right down here. Yeah, that's just what I thought. See, his eyes were back inside. Swope feels that and then goes deep, which is a rule. You get in trouble, get deep. Tannehill looked down the field, and it was 6 quick. Travis Lewis trying to feel him. Now his eyes go back, and he loses him. And then Swope just gets the depth, and it's 6.
You can see Lewis limping on that broken left big toe. Swope was a running back in high school, recruited A&M as an athlete. That is the longest reception of his career. And 110 yards receiving for the game now. His 12 catches this year are 20 yards or more. And Mike Sherman was marveling when we spoke with him the other day about his team's ability to score right before the half. They have scored in their last possession of the first half in every game this year. 7 touchdowns and a field goal coming into today. That might have been their last possession of this half, and it's another score.
Well, he's marveling again. It's amazing. It's amazing how teams are. You know, that's Ryan Swope and Josh Cooper down at Oklahoma State. You and I have had the chance to watch both those guys. And
similar.
I'm pretty sure it's the same guy.
See Josh Cooper tonight for Oklahoma State against Kansas State. Our Saturday Night Football lineup. Mike Sherman compares Swope to Wes Welker, although he's bigger than Wes. And obviously, when he spoke with Swope, he took that as a great compliment. Wes Welker, an outstanding NFL receiver. Swope's about 206 pounds. Kickoff goes out of bounds. So time for Oklahoma with the win. The minute 39 and a half and 2 timeouts. They'll have good field position.
Kick out of bounds. A&M. Oklahoma accepts the option. 1st and 10 from the 40.
Sounds like a couple of members of our crew coming back into the hotel last night. I think the wind is playing a little havoc with the echoing through the PA system here. This Wednesday on ABC. Don't miss the CMA Awards hosted by Brad Paisley and Carrie Underwood. Performances by some of the biggest stars in country music. The CMA Awards live Wednesday at 8, 7 Central on ABC. I know Heather Cox will be tuned in for that.
Oh, that was a nice drive in the ball. Boy, really well done by Lionel Smith.
Yeah, he's played well. They're without Coriel Judy, who they think is one of the best corners in the country, out again with a hamstring injury, and Smith's had a nice game.
Yeah, that's textbook in how you play that. And he saw the 3-step, his eyes were back inside, and then he drove it. Now, sooner or later, there's going to be a double move, and he's going to take that up the field. Let's see if he handles it then. As you look at Coriel Judy on the sideline.
Tim DeRuiter, to his credit, said, you know, injuries are part of football. You can't use that as an excuse. You have depth. You got to get guys to go out and play, and they have today. That's an incomplete pass in the direction of Kenny Stills. 3rd and 10 for Oklahoma with a minute and a half left in the half. Landry Jones now 0 for his last 5.
Kenny Stills has to make this catch. That went right through his hands. I think he may have been anticipating that defender about to hit him right in the face. That was Jonathan Stewart, number 11.
Jones, who completes over 66% of his passes, just 10 for 25 on this windy day. Just 112 yards passing. He's been over 350 in every game but one this season. Held to 199 in their big win at Florida State. 5-man rush, deep throw, almost intercepted by Terrence Frederick. Thrown way too high for Ryan Broyles, and a 3-and-out.
Was thrown that way because Jonathan Stewart, what they're doing, they undercut the undercut Broyles, and they anticipate that he's going to go to him on third down. So they take the linebacker and they run him underneath. And in order to make that throw, Sean, it has to come off high, and it goes in Texas A&M's favor.
Tressway will punt with the win. Dustin Harris back for it. Harris is going to try it from about the 7. Has running room up the far sideline. Breaks a tackle near the 30. And brings it out to the 42. Terrific return by Dustin Harris, the junior from Livingston, Texas. Joseph Ibiloye made the tackle. 53-yard punt, but a 35-yard return, longest of the season for Texas A&M.
Yeah, and a calculated risk, and that pays off for him. And had Lionel Smith, number 3, had he been able to redirect and get out in front of him, that had a chance to really get some yardage.
Well, let's see if they can keep their streak alive of scoring in the last possession before the half. Thought they had done that with the touchdown last time, but the Aggies happy to have the ball back. Cyrus Gray banged down to the line of scrimmage by Ronell Lewis. All 3 timeouts left for A&M. A minute to go in the half. Good field position, but they are operating into that 30-mile-per-hour wind.
Save one run, Sean. The Oklahoma defense has kind of taken this running game away.
There's 52 yards rushing for Texas A&M. Tannehill short drop. Completed pass to Ryan Swope. 47-yard line. 3rd and 4 the next snap. Jaden Bird. Joseph Ibiloye made the tackle, and there is a timeout called. Actually, there's an injured player down. It is Ibiloye, junior from Garland, Texas. So the clock is stopped with 33 seconds to go in the half. Brent Venables, his defense gathered round. It was interesting what he said. Sometimes it can sound like coach speak. He said, we've been telling our team this is the best team that's coming in to Norman since Kansas State in 2001. Right. You might say, wait a minute, but if you think about it, they don't play Texas here. That's always at the neutral site down at the Cotton Bowl. And Texas A&M was a top 10 team earlier in the year. 2 of their losses are to teams that are in the top 10 right now. They've led by double figures in every game they've played this year prior to today. A lot of talent on this team. You could at least make the argument that that wasn't a bunch of nonsense.
Oh, not at all. And he's looking at it mostly from his perspective, which is this offense. And when you look at this offensive line, this is a really talented offensive line.
They said it's the best offensive line they've faced since the Texas team won the national championship 2005. Clock running now with Ibiloye up on his feet. 3rd down and 4. 5-man rush. Tannehill couldn't find anybody. He's still behind the line of scrimmage. Throws to the sideline, incomplete behind Wachiku. Colvin had coverage. It looked like once he got outside to his right, Tannehill might have been able to run for the first down.
He should have. And I think he knows it. As he gets over to the sideline, he's going to realize he'd easily gotten that first down. There was nobody there. He didn't want to risk throwing a pick, so he just threw it away. But he had an easy 5 yards of green to get.
And Mike Sherman knows that. He's been watching the replay on the big screen in the end zone. So Epperson will punt into the wind. Royals back for it. And they swatted that one down, but it took a good bounce. And it's still going. Great bounce. Down inside the 5. Let's take a look now at our Big 12 conference update. It's brought to you by Dr. Pepper 10. Of course, there are 10 teams these days in the Big 12, but who can keep track of who's in what league or how many teams there are? But the most important thing that you need to know is Oklahoma and Oklahoma State control their own destiny at the top. If Oklahoma wins out, it will include the win in the Bedlam game on December 3rd at Oklahoma State. And it would give them the conference championship. No conference championship game this year. No more North and South divisions in the Big 12 with the reduction from 12 down to 10.
Take a look at Jackie Shipp there on the sideline, the defensive line
That's
coach.
Jackie Shipp?
That's Jackie. Oh, that's not Jackie Shipp. No. Jackie played linebacker here and coached the defensive line for the Sooners.
Halloween over. guess dressed like that on a regular basis. Landry Jones keeps. That'll end the half. The Oklahoma coaches knew they were in for a battle, and they're getting one. At the half, 13-10, the Sooners lead the Aggies. Stay tuned for complete halftime report after these messages. And we welcome you back to sold out Owen Field in Norman, Oklahoma. The 6th-ranked Sooners leading Texas A&M 13-10 at halftime. Sean McDonough, Matt Millen will be rejoined in a moment by Heather Cox. These are two of the best offensive teams in the country. We thought we might get a shootout. Give both defenses credit. It's been really the defenses that have carried the day so far.
And that's what we said at the start of the game. And we said the team whose defense plays the best would win this game. And when you consider the fact that you have 500 yards that Landry Jones put on Kansas State just a week ago, they only have one play of over 10 yards in the first half. And that was to Ryan Broyles. And then on the other side, there's two big plays that have kept Texas A&M in this game. And Sean, this is anybody's game right here in the second half. We'll see if the defenses continue.
Patrick O'Hare will kick off with that 30-mile-an-hour wind at his back. Texas A&M will get the ball first. Dustin Harris will take a knee. Take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. There's 208 yards of offense for Texas A&M. Meanwhile, Landry Jones held to 10 for 26, passing for 112 yards. Matt mentioned just one play for the Sooners over 10 yards in the game. Brian Swope with the biggest play of the half for A&M, 79-yard touchdown catch and run. They had 131 yards from scrimmage, so 110 yards of offense on 2 plays. They had 98 yards on their other 33 plays combined. Tannehill's pass batted down at the line of scrimmage. Here's Heather Cox.
Well, Sean, both coaches conceded that this wind is certainly affecting their play calling and the way that this game is being played, especially with the kicking game. I talked to Coach Bob Stoops, and he said our offense was not productive in the first half, especially in the red zone, or what they call the tight zone. He said, look for a lot more production and efficiency here in the second half.
All right, Heather, thank you. 2nd and 10. Tannehill just 9 out of 23 passing. Nice bounce by Kristen Michael into the secondary. And he slides down at the 35-yard line. 15-yard run for Texas A&M.
And the second longest run of the day. Remember, he had a 31-yarder earlier in the game in the first half, and now he's able to get a little crease on the inside. Let's see if this A&M offensive line can't get rolling here.
Michael had rushed for 100+ in each of the previous 3 games. Tannehill throws, drop, rarity. Ryan Swope didn't hang on. He had room to turn and run if he made the catch. Well, the good news for Mike Sherman is he doesn't have to worry about one of those pesky double-digit leads to protect at halftime. And all 3 of their losses, they led by double figures at halftime. They've been a bad second half team, and Oklahoma's been an outstanding second half team. We'll see if that form holds today. Tannehill, quick pop. Swope held on to that one. Travis Lewis took him across the far sideline at the 39-yard line. Gain of 4. It'll be 3rd down and 6. There are a wide variety of reasons for all those blown leads, Matt. Turnovers. Where the offense couldn't build on the leads, couldn't sustain drives. They turned the ball over a lot. Defense gave up some big plays. They've had some very costly penalties in second halves. Tannehill on 3rd down. Has some running room. Instead, just fires it away.
I don't know why he didn't. That's the second time, Sean, we've seen that.
That's only 6 yards to go. It would have been close. They decided to tuck it down and run. Instead, they just gave up on the play. Bizarre. Mike Sherman calls the plays. He's his own offensive coordinator. And he has to be pleased with the job the offensive coordinator is doing. They're on pace to set the school record for average yards per game in a season. Coming into the wind, Ryan Epperson. Down it at the 29. Justin Ortega, who's the snapper down there, to down it.
You know, the first half you saw Landry Jones not necessarily getting sacked, although it happens, but moving him off the mark and making him uncomfortable, Sean, and getting him a little bit of happy feet back there. And I think that's what you have to be able to do with Landry Jones. A&M was able to do that in the first half with success. Let's see if they can continue it here in the second half.
10 for 26. Pressured more than usual in that first half. Missed his last 6 throws of the first half. Starts with a run with Roy Finch, and a good run. Tony Jarrett-Eddy took him down at the 36. That's a gain of 7. 2nd and 3. They'll come to the line very quickly.
One of the things this offense did very well in the first half was get to 2nd and 3rd and short. And you're going to have it again.
Finch about a yard short of the first down. Will we see Blake Bell back in there as their version of the Wildcat quarterback on 3rd and short? Worked very well for them.
Here he comes. You and I both were saying they've been running that inside play with the power people, and they have them in again. But at one point in this game, he's gonna fake that and throw it.
4 first downs, a touchdown for Bell in the first half, or their only touchdown of the half.
Royals man-to-man outside.
Well, here's the time they throw it. Wanted Miller, but he was covered. Man. Trent Hunter alert to the possibility that Bell might throw it. They knew it was coming sooner or later. I mean, we're not that smart, and we knew it, so they had to know it.
Well, I'm going to tell you what he misses. On the outside, he has Broyles the whole field to the inside. No safety there. Broyles is able to get back inside of Smith. Now look, throw the ball to the inside, and it's a big play. He missed it. Broyles knew it.
Tress Way will punt to Dustin Harris. Harris is standing 50 yards from the line of scrimmage, knowing it's going to be a bomb in that wind, and it is. 62-yard punt. Longest of the season for Way. College football action continues tonight on ESPN. The 9th-ranked South Carolina Gamecocks trying to stay in first place in the SEC East, and they take on 7th-ranked Arkansas in Fayetteville. College football primetime presented by Hampton Hotels tonight, 7:15 Eastern on ESPN and ESPN3. South Carolina's lost 22 straight regular season games against top 10 opponents. Christian Michael, the running back. Ryan Tannehill under center. Gave it to Michael, and he's smothered for a 2-yard loss. Ronell Lewis, Jamarcus McFarland in on the play for the Sooners.
Jamarcus McFarland, number 97 inside. Casey Walker, number 53. They've played really pretty well in there today. They've been tough inside. They've not been given any kind of space inside for the inside running game. And Michael struggled.
Second and 12. Each team has punted already here in the 3rd quarter. They've played just over 2.5 minutes. Fleming blitzes off the corner, and the pass incomplete in the direction of Nehemiah Hicks with Travis Lewis in coverage. And the blitz was effective.
Yeah, Fleming did a very good job with his timing and then getting his hands up to disrupt everything. But he didn't give anything away, Sean. You didn't see anybody pointing. You didn't see the receiver kind of indicating that he was coming. That was all on Fleming.
3rd down and 12. The Aggies just 3 out of 10 for the game on 3rd down. And movement. Going to be a more difficult 3rd down to convert. Jake Matthews.
False start. Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty, third down.
Takes the son of Bruce Matthews, the great All-Pro for the Houston Oilers, Tennessee Titans, who was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2007, one of the great football families in America. Five receivers, 3 to Tannehill's left.
And Swope down here, the second guy from the bottom. He's the chain mover.
Again, going into that stiff wind, Tannehill tucked it down. Got across the line of scrimmage, but not by much. Frank Alexander able to run him down. And it's developing into a punt-a-thon here in the third quarter.
But better than that, it's turning into good defense on both sides of the ball. Both of them have played very good coverage here in the second half. Not only in the second half, but in the first half as well.
You have to think if they keep exchanging punts, the field position will tilt toward Oklahoma's favor, because that one went straight up into the wind and got abused by the breeze, and then took a horrible bounce for Texas A&M as well. I mean, you could just see that ball go up in the air and stop and drop straight down like it was coming down your chimney. And then a lot of backspin. He's been using one of those old Balata balls. They're going to mark it at the 31-yard line, a 14-yard punt.
Put more pressure on the Texas A&M defense. This great field position, and truth be told, Oklahoma has had great starting field position for most of this game.
Brandon Williams will be the running back as Landry Jones begins this possession under center. Oklahoma, tremendous field position, trying to add to a 3-point lead. They come out throwing, and it is caught. Another one-handed catch, and a touchdown by Jazz Reynolds.
That was all Jazz Reynolds, because the coverage is right there. Watch Smith. Stays right in his hip pocket where it has to be. The ball is thrown over the outside shoulder, and Sean, you said it right. He just pulls that thing down with one hand. It's becoming a habit for him.
We had a one-handed catch for a touchdown last week. 31-yard touchdown. On the first play after the 14-yard punt, Jazz Williams, 5th touchdown reception of the year. Michael Honeycutt on for the extra point. And they lead for the second time today by 10 points. Reynolds, sophomore from Houston, told us yesterday, I'm bitter that Texas and Texas A&M didn't offer me a scholarship.
ESPN's College Football on ABC, brought to you by Verizon 4G LTE, America's fastest, most reliable 4G network, and Chrysler, imported from Detroit.
Look inside the National Weather Center, located right here in Norman. Jazz Reynolds emerging as a star in what is already a great receiving core for Oklahoma. Here's a look at today's Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate. And Jazz Reynolds is showing week to week he only needs one hand. Should be the good hand play.
It should be the good hand, and keep in mind he's got really nice, good-sized hands as well. It's the good hands play because that's one good hand he has on the right. Remember we talked to him yesterday, Sean. He put that hand up, and boy, that's a nice, big-looking paw.
2X gloves, he told us. I don't know what size glove I wear, though. Do you?
No, I don't. All I know is when I looked at his hands, they were pretty darn good.
He has big hands.
Yes, he does.
Big hands, good catches. Patrick O'Hara picks off with the win. They're going to try to run this one out. Line drive kick fielded by Harris. Good decision as he crossed the 20, made the 25. Well, let's go back to a week ago. Similar situation. Breeze about 30 miles an hour. And that was a good catch by Reynolds. There's the one-hander for a touchdown in the third quarter. And it was that third quarter last week at K-State, Matt, when they took advantage of that strong wind at their back. They kept pinning K-State in over and over and over again. The big hands put to good use. Third possession of the quarter for A&M. Still not even 4 minutes gone by. Tannehill throws, caught. Jeff Fuller, first down, 38-yard line.
I think that might be his first catch of the day, because there was two of them that he dropped.
Second catch of the day for Fuller.
Second catch. On the top, they're just sitting in a zone. He's going to find that hole, and Tannehill hits it.
Now Kristen Michael. They mix the run back in for 2 yards. Here's Robert Flores.
Hey, Sean, Nebraska started the day in a three-way tie for first in the Big Ten Legends Division. They're trailing to Northwestern, however. Taylor Martinez to Tim Marlowe cuts it to 14-10 at the end of 3. And look at number 4, Stanford. They're struggling with Oregon State in Corvallis, 17-13.
Against the Beaver team has had a very disappointing year. Tannehill fires incomplete. Again, Fuller couldn't hang on. When we talk about A&M being a disappointing team this year, top 10 team earlier, lots of talent back. Fuller, you kind of have to feel for him. He's had a lot of injuries, but he's a guy who certainly hasn't done anywhere near as much as they had hoped and as he had hoped.
Yeah, and really only, I don't know how many attempts they've gone to him here today. Now I know he's had 2 balls that I think should have been caught.
Yep. Really a shell of what he's been in the past. Third down and 8. That pass is deflected and intercepted by Ronell Lewis. Brought it back inside the 30-yard line, and Oklahoma takes over.
Sean, that might be the 5th tipped ball of this day. We talked about it earlier in the first half, and then here he comes in the second half. Ronell Lewis, you're going to watch him, number 56, right there. Comes around and then has the ball is slapped up in the air.
R.J. Washington.
By Washington, and Ronell Lewis picks it off.
Third turnover of the day for Texas A&M. Second interception thrown by Tannehill. This really is reminiscent of last week's game for Oklahoma in Manhattan, Kansas, when they had a 6-point lead at the half, took advantage of the strong wind at their backs in the third quarter, and wound up blowing out Kansas State. That scored them 35-0 in the second half. Roy Finch, pretty strong run from the little guy down to the 21-yard line. Gain of 7. Second and 3.
Usually Oklahoma in change of possession will try to stick a dagger in you and go right for the 6 points. And so A&M, they showed a zone the whole time, and right before the snap, Sean, they showed a blitz and came with it. And that's why Roy Finch got into that second level so fast.
So the turnover problems for A&M. The margin bad, but they just don't take the ball away. Finch runs for a first down. The turnover margin had been a problem coming in for Oklahoma. For the year entering today, they were only +1. And that was by far the worst turnover margin of the BCS top 6. Next closest, Alabama and Boise State at +6. Jones after a fake. Millard is running room. Powers his way inside the 10. Takes 3 to get him down. Led by Jonathan Stewart and Trent Hunter.
Oklahoma has been pretty good on first downs, and it looks like to me, because they've been getting in second and short and third and short all game long. Mostly second and short. And a lot of times it's just plays like this.
Finch. First down inside the 5. It'll be first and goal from the 3. Oklahoma trying to take control of this game early in the third quarter. Demontre Moore made the tackle. Jones lined them up very quickly. Finch to the left. Big hole. Touchdown.
That last play, Sean, was just, it was about pace as much as it was about the run. And they got up there quick, snapped it quick, and stuffed it in.
And now Michael Honeycutt to make it a 17-point lead. Well, we've noted A&M's second half struggles and what a good second half team Oklahoma's been. And form is holding for both teams. The interception leads to a Finch touchdown. Back in Norman, Oklahoma, number 6. Oklahoma leading Texas A&M 27-10. There's a 3-point lead at the half. They've scored twice already here in the third quarter. Eerily reminiscent of last week's game at Kansas State when they had a 6-point lead at the half, scored a touchdown in their first 5 possessions of the second half, and wound up routing K-State 58-17. They had 690 yards of offense last week, their most since 1988. Patrick O'Hara kicks off. Dustin Harris is going to try from the middle of the end zone again and won't reach the 20 this time.
Sean, remember when we start talking about when you play these teams, you have to defend pace. And part of that is awareness as well. Landry Jones has it right there. See, he gets everybody lined up. Now watch when they start. Look, over here, over here. You have 7 of the 11 guys not ready for this snap. And then here comes Finch. Miller gets a good block, and it's 6 quick.
A&M was in the game of the half largely because they got a big play on a broken play for a 79-yard touchdown. Can they sustain some offense? Ryan Swope a catch shoved out by DeMontre Hurst. Short gain to the 21. They got 4. It'll be 2nd and 6. Christian Michael run out by Jamel Fleming, short of the first down. They'll need 2. 3rd and 2 from the 25.
We know that the Oklahoma Sooners lost Tom Wharton in the first half, but the guy who really has made a difference here in this game today is Fleming.
Quick throw, Jeff Fuller, no gain. Good tackle by Aaron Colvin. Well, they go 3 and out again. So far, the punting team isn't coming on the field. You wonder if you take a chance. They're not going to. But I mean, with the likelihood, Matt, a good stop there, that you're going to have another very short punt. Whoever inclined to take a chance deep in your own end.
Ooh, that'd be awful tough.
Well, go ahead and punt at 20 yards. Let's see what good that does you.
I think he can't. He's getting the ball up too fast. Now it's better. Now he kind of drove it a little bit.
Yeah, line drive kick much better. 3rd punt of the quarter with an interception as well. Fair catch by Broyles near the 30. Here's Robert Flores.
Hey, Sean, Stanford is 8-0 for the first time since 1951, and they've opened up a little bit of breathing room against Oregon State. Andrew Luck, 25th touchdown pass of the season to Stephon Taylor, and right now it's 24-13 late in the 3rd. Northwestern still leading Nebraska early 4th quarter in Lincoln, 14-10.
That Stanford score is of great interest to the folks here who follow the Oklahoma Sooners. I spoke with Brad Edwards, our BCS expert, earlier today to ask him about Oklahoma. How realistic is it that they are a legitimate contender to get back into the national championship picture? And he said really one of the most important parts of that scenario would be Stanford needs to suffer a loss. Landry Jones deep and just out of the reach of Jazz Reynolds. Usually if he gets one hand on it, he catches it, but not that time. Of course, it's LSU and Alabama in the big one tonight. One of them is going to lose. Oklahoma will have a chance to give Oklahoma State a loss directly when they go head-to-head December 3rd. So it would really help Oklahoma's cause if Stanford could suffer a loss. That would be an unexpected surprise for them today at Oregon State. But the Cardinal with some very tough games left. And then you wonder about Boise State's chances of making the title game even if they're undefeated. Jones is going to run. Slides down with an apparent first down below the mark. Looks like it's going to be just shy of that yellow line by about a half-yard.
And here we go, 3rd and short again. Let's see. Yep, here he comes. Old Blake Bell in.
I think the Belldozer's going to stick as a nickname. It's just sort of in its infancy here locally, but I think it might stick.
And I think you're going to see a Belldozer right here. He can scrap that throwing part.
You get the 2 fullbacks again, Millard and Witkowski, and Bell runs over the safety, Trent Hunter, who might be generously listed at 5'10" and 192. The play goes out to the 48-yard line and a first down.
And all Oklahoma is saying is, look, we're going to run the football, and we don't think you can stop us. And so we're going to put our big guys in and see if you can. And A&M has not been able to all day.
Bell on 3rd down today has run for 5 first downs and scored a touchdown. It's working well. And as you say, largely because they're in 3rd and short most of the time. Really all the time when he's been in. Landry Jones all day after the fake has his receiver. There's a flag down. Ryan Broyles breaks a shirt tackle. Goes down at the 21 and then grabs his left knee. Boy, that'll make you hold your breath. Another young man who bypassed the NFL draft. He was told he was likely to be a 2nd-round pick.
The result of the play, first down.
He turned down the penalty against Texas A&M. And it's a 31-yard gain on the completion to Ryan Broyles. You probably heard it right there when he landed on that left leg hard. .22-yard line. Roy Finch. That line starting to open up some big holes. Finch down to the 17. 5-yard run. Stephen Jenkins made the tackle. We're still looking at Broyles. Think he made a good decision to come back?
Yeah, he did. A year ago, he would have probably been, a late 2nd-round pick, and he's got a chance to work his way up into the 1st round this year. He doesn't like what I say, his speed. Doesn't have the great speed, but he's a really good player.
Finch has plenty of speed. He's down to the 6-yard line, 1st and goal. This is almost an instant replay of the game we watched in Manhattan, Kansas last week when Oklahoma just blew it open in the 3rd quarter against the K-State Wildcat. Again, the quick pace. Again, Finch. And a good tackle. Trent Hunter says enough of this. And he ripped them down at the 4-yard line. Here comes the Belldozer.
Yeah, and you can see Hurd up there. He's to the sidelines telling him, hey, hurry up, get this call in. We need to get lined up.
Well, they substituted, so A&M subs defensively as well. We saw the officials giving A&M time to get the defense set up. Usually they give you about 3 seconds, and then here we go. Bell trying to pick his spot. His spot is the end zone. Touchdown, Oklahoma.
Just another offensive set for other teams to have to prepare for. And when you got your big guys blocking, you see Millard right there, number 33, and Aaron Witkowski, number 49. That's over 500 pounds of man. And then here comes Blake Bell.
We talk about Oklahoma's path to get back into the national championship picture. The top 3 in the country most of the year. Style points is a part of it.
Absolutely.
They want to make an impression on voters. And the bigger the margin of victory, the better. Broyles still limping around the sideline. Honeycutt's extra point makes it 34-10 as we send you back to Robert Flores.
Well, Sean, former Big 12 member Nebraska struggling with Northwestern today at home. Kane Coulter to Jeremy Ebert, 81 yards. Dan Purser, the starter for Northwestern, injured his shoulder. He is not playing, but Northwestern playing well and leading fourth quarter in Lincoln.
Wow. Of course, Coulter played earlier in the year when Purser was hurt. And they think he's a talented young man. He's already demonstrated he could lead him to a win, but that would be a huge win on the road in Lincoln.
That's a monster. And that's a rough
Nebraska
loss.
is looking ahead to that big game with Penn State next week. Your old alma mater still sitting there. Only one overall loss, none in league play, with an offense that does very little to impress you.
They have a coach up there who just continues to find a way to get them to win.
Who's that?
This guy Paterno, I think he's got a chance to be pretty good.
Patrick O'Hara kicks off. Will they try it from 8 yards deep? Nope. Harris just let it pass by. Of course, concern right now for Oklahoma, Tom Ward, their outstanding middle linebacker, hasn't returned since he injured his leg in the first half. And Ryan Broyles, the all-time leading receiver in the history of college football with 349 receptions, has a chance by the end of the year to be the all-time leader in receiving yards as well. He isn't going to catch Jarrett Dillard's 60 career touchdown receptions, and that doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't. Just the way he landed on that when he tried to cut, Sean.
Wow. Tannehill got away from Alexander and then threw a duck that was intercepted by Jamel Fleming. Flutter ball into that 30-mile-an-hour wind, and another turnover, the fourth committed by Texas A&M. The third interception thrown by Tannehill.
He's throwing into a wind, but he's also throwing to Jamel Fleming, who just plays this perfectly. I mean, he does not. It's not a very good throw.
No, and he was allowed to put plenty of hands on Fuller deep down the field there. Even with the ball in the air, you could see a couple of the people on the A&M sideline asking, where's the flag? Fleming is a difference maker. He had 5 interceptions last season. His first interception of this season to go along with that fumble recovery when he just ripped it away from the ball carrier. Tough day for Tannehill. Here comes the relentless Oklahoma offense. Well, he's found that rhythm here in the third quarter. And out for blood. Stills behind the defense. Touchdown as he beat Terrence Frederick.
All kinds of time to throw, Sean. And then he just gets behind Frederick. The safety is drawn to the inside. Frederick should have just kept on carrying him. He's got to climb in that. Andrew Jones saw it, and he knew it was 6.
39 yards, 4 possessions this quarter for Oklahoma, 4 touchdowns. Would you believe it was 13-3 at the half? It's 41-3 now. Still more than 4.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Kenny Stills the touchdown reception.
Sean, let me show you. Let's go back to that touchdown. I'll show you what I mean by that when we're talking about climbing. Okay, here, keep in mind, here's the corner. It looks like you got a 2 over the top safety. Now he's going to pass that off, and now he has got to, once he sees the inside receiver going, he knows the safety has that responsibility. He's got to climb. Now it's tough because what they did is they make you have to adjust underneath, not adjust, but pay attention to the underneath by keeping that other receiver come out. So they kind of put you in a high-low situation. You always have to honor the high part.
And now that the outcome of the game seems to not be in doubt, your heart has to ache for Ryan Broyles. In tears now on that sideline. Looks like he might have suffered a very serious knee injury. Senior from right up the street here in Norman, Oklahoma. Young man. He passed up the NFL. Likely would have been a 2nd-round pick according to the information he got to come back and be part of a very talented team with national championship aspirations. He has really emerged as a leader on this team. Patrick O'Hara's kickoff goes through the end zone. Ryan Broyles, when he first got here, involved in some difficulty off the field, most notably at a local gas station, tried to make off with some gas without paying for it and paid the price for that. But the transformation's been unbelievable. We've talked to so many of his teammates yesterday, Matt. We talked about what a leader he's become. He went on a trip to Haiti back in the spring. Ryan said had an awakening of his faith. He's a changed man. And wow, you just hope that it isn't as bad as his reaction would lead you to believe. Michael, short gain, 2 yards. Here's Heather.
Sean, no less than 7 doctors have been tending to Ryan Broyles and that injured left knee. As you saw, very emotional, very deflated, with tears in his eyes when the doctors conferred with him. He was waiting for the cart to come over, said he couldn't walk. He had so overcome with emotion as Jay Norvell and Landry Jones and Kenny Stills came over that he chose to walk into the locker room so that doctors can assess him a little bit more, but obviously done for the day.
I know, Heather, the Oklahoma folks are very tight-lipped with injury information, but were you able to ascertain anything?
Certainly, the doctors all looking at that left knee. They did the standard ACL test to see if there's an ACL tear. They also tested for the PCL and the MCL. Those are all tests that I've gone through with 3 different knee surgeries. Certainly at that point, the doctors whispered into his ear. That's when the tears came. I don't want to speculate, obviously, a knee injury, but to what extent, we still don't know.
Able to put some weight on the left leg as he walks with assistance to the locker room. Travis Lewis now down. Of course, he's played the whole year with a broken left toe. Big toe on his left foot. We talked to Ryan Broyles a lot last year before the Fiesta Bowl.
Right.
You know, it's impressive the transformation that his life has made. Kenny Stills said he chose to come to Oklahoma in part because he knew Ryan Broyles could be a mentor to him, and he said Ryan Broyles is even way beyond what I thought he could be in terms of providing leadership and direction for me on and off the field. Wow, that was hard to watch. Well, let's hope that somehow it's not as bad as it appeared based on his reaction. Tannehill on target. Michael Lamoth. 3 tight ends they use with regularity to the 49-yard line of Oklahoma. First down. 17-yard gain.
Well, we said which defense would play the best would win this game, and Oklahoma's defense has played really, really well. From the beginning of the game all the way through, with a 31-point lead, they're sitting pretty good.
Second week in a row, they've taken advantage of the wind at their backs. Shifting field position in the third quarter. Hudson preload the intended receiver. Another tight end, Jaden Bird, got in the way.
Yeah, nicely done by Jaden Bird, just running with that coverage, picking it up across the middle and getting a hand in there. You know, it seems like anytime anybody goes out, there's another guy who is just as skilled as the previous.
As you mentioned, Bird's played considerable amount of playing time in the absence of Wart from time to time this year. He might be a key man going forward if Wart is unable to play in upcoming weeks. Tannehill weaving his way through the defense. First down. Down to the 38-yard line. David King, a backup defensive end, made the tackle. It's an 11-yard run for Tannehill. Ward is on the sideline. We haven't seen anything wrapped around his leg. Looked like a left knee and ankle situation in the first half. Standing on the sideline. But he has not returned. Kristen Michael weaving through the defense. Another first down. Good drive here for the Aggies. He's to the 23. A 15-yard gain. And Javon Harris made the tackle. And now it is Michael who's grabbing at his left knee and not getting up.
We've got a bunch of these things here today.
A&M's had to deal with injuries, particularly on the defensive side, and we mentioned the number of different injuries endured by Jeff Fuller, the hamstring that had to be drained of fluid. Concussion, now turf toe. He's been nowhere near as good as he was in previous years. And like Broyles, he's a guy who rolled the dice a bit, decided to come back for his senior year. And your biggest fear when you do that is that you get hurt. Fuller's been hurt all year, although he's still playing. Broyles might have suffered a serious injury here today.
Well, the one thing I learned a long time ago, and I don't mean to be trite or anything or flippant, but young guys heal. Old guys don't. I learned that a long time ago in the National Football League. When you get hurt early, you come back pretty quick off it.
Hard to tell how Michael got hurt there, but he was helped off. 1st and 10. Cyrus Gray comes in. As Michael suffered a broken leg last year that gave Gray an opportunity to emerge, and he did. He wound up in the arms of Stacy McGee on that carry for a loss back to the 25-yard line.
I think this might be, I haven't seen all the Sooners defensive play, but this might be the best I've seen of their interior guys playing. They've really played well. Casey Walker inside 53, McFarland, McGee, Peterson, they've all played well. They've not been able to run the Aggies inside here today.
Yeah, the coaches know they're not really talented at defensive tackle positions, but those guys have exceeded expectations. They've been solid. Tannehill incomplete.
That's a great throw.
Perfect, really. It appeared, and Prelo couldn't hang on to it.
That was put, Sean, in the only place it could be, and he had to pull a string a little bit on it, have some touch on it, and it was right there, and that's a great throw. Got to come down with that catch.
Joseph Ibiloye in coverage. Sam Proctor trying to help. 3rd down and 11, nearing 2 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. A quarter dominated by Oklahoma, which led 13-10 at the half. Tannehill throws incomplete, looking for Brandel Jackson. Demontre Hurst, the defender.
You know, we've talked a lot about Jamel Fleming on the other side, but Hurst has played a pretty good game here as well. Actually, the secondary of Oklahoma, which you know, been banged up a little bit, they played very well here today, Sean.
Yeah, Brent Venables talking about Hurst for his consistency. In a very dependable corner. Here's Randy Bullock. Missed one in this direction into the wind in the first half. It was just his 2nd miss of the year. Now he's had 3. Two of them today as he struck the right upright from 41 yards into the wind. Well, Mike Sherman was worried about that wind on Wednesday when we talked to him, and he turned out to be a prophet.
Well, it's bad enough that you missed the kick. It's even worse when somebody says something to you afterwards.
I could see you being that kind of a guy who might say something to the kicker.
I might say, it seems to me you lived your life like a field goal in the wind.
Or something like that.
Something like that.
So Oklahoma takes over from its own 24. Landry Jones looking to really rub it in. Jazz Williams, he was held, flagged down. He didn't catch it. It's almost as if he's forgotten to use the other arm now. He's just so used to catching with one, he doesn't want to try to use 2. Lionel Smith was hanging on for dear life.
Defense, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic 1st down.
Yeah, but that's a smart defensive play. Reynolds gets on top of the coverage. So now if you know he's going to make a big play, heck, that's smart. Go ahead and yank him. Hate to say it, but that's the truth.
And Jazz might want to try to start to use 2 hands.
Yeah.
We know we can catch him with one, but sometimes the other one helps.
Yeah, it's funny how that works.
Line of scrimmage now the 39-yard line. Despite this big quarter, Jones is still thrown for just 220 today. Here's Heather Cox. The pass is incomplete for Franks. Heather?
Sean, sorry to report another injury. This time running back Kristen Michael for Texas A&M has a sprained left knee. He will not return. So Cyrus Gray, who's battling a pulled groin, becomes the go-to guy for the Aggies.
We got a lot of guys get dinged here today.
Season with such high hopes for A&M has really turned into a major disappointment. That ball's incomplete for Stills with Frederick in coverage.
Stills isn't right. He still can't open it up all the way, but nicely defended by Frederick, and then this ball hung up a little bit. And keep in mind, the wind is at his back right now. But Stills did have a chance to get on top of him had he led him to the outside. It was actually a decent route because he gave some room to the outside for that ball to be thrown.
Jones. Incomplete. Jazz Reynolds couldn't hang on to that one either. That looked like a well-thrown ball. Dustin Harris had the coverage for the Aggies.
Pretty good coverage here. And then he gets beat off the top. And now you have to try to undercut it. It looks like you got a hand in there. But even with that, you got, the difference between good and great plays, Sean, as you well know, is to complete the play. Make the catch.
Hard to be a great play when you drop the ball.
Yeah.
Tressway punts. 6th time he's punted today. That's a season high.
He got it to turn over too.
Another wind-blown fly ball. 61 yards. He'll come out to the 20. College football action continues tonight on the ESPN networks and ABC. A full slate of games at 8 Eastern. The big one in Stillwater for many of you. Number 14 Kansas State taking on the 3rd-ranked Oklahoma State Cowboys. Some of you will get Notre Dame and Wake Forest from Winston-Salem. Both games are available all over the country, either on ABC or ESPN2. You want to see one of them, you turn on ABC, it's not there, it means it's on ESPN2, and vice versa. Tonight, Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines at 8 Eastern Time, 5 Pacific, ABC. Ryan Tannehill under duress. R.J. Washington chased him to the boundary, just flips it out of bounds. What they tell us Stillwater is about 85 miles from here. Let's go to the Google map. We're a little southeast of Oklahoma City and Stillwater up there to the northeast. There was an earthquake that encompassed this area that you're looking at on our Google map. About 4.7 on the Richter scale. I felt it in the wee hours of the morning.
What the heck were you doing up at 2:15?
I couldn't sleep. The prospect of having to carry you for another day was just too much for me to bear. Tannehill throws to Wachiku.
Very legitimate too, I might add.
And it's a first down out to the 30-yard line. Yeah, it was, it wasn't knock things off the shelves, but it was enough to let you know that the room was moving.
Yeah, not a good feeling. I've been in a couple of big ones. There was the Coalinga quake in like 83, 84, and then in 89 in San Francisco. That was a big one.
Unfortunately, we have not heard any reports of any major damage around here.
Another tip pass, Sean. That's probably, I don't know for sure, but it's 5th or 6th tip ball that we've seen here today.
Frank Alexander, who really is a candidate for All-American honors as a senior this season he's having. 2nd and 10, final minute of the 3rd quarter. Another disastrous second half for Texas A&M. Cyrus Gray got away from Hurst. Sam Proctor chased him out. Just short of the first down. They'll mark it at the 38. The 7th possession of the quarter for A&M. And as you can see, it's been ugly. Tannehill throws. Good catch by Gray, but he's dropped immediately by Tom Wart's stand-in, Jaden Bird. Yeah, very nice play. Loss on the play.
Yeah, and he's better than a stand-in. This Bird kid's got a little game to him. He's a rare bird, you might say.
You might. I'm glad it was you, in fact.
No, but
A 240-pound kid can run. That's a good-looking player. Junior, plays behind Ward, but I'll tell you, he plays good football.
Now, when you punt on 4th and 4, you're pretty much conceding. You think the game's over?
Now the whole quarter to play, man.
All
That's
right. Stills the fair catch. Broyles out of the game now. Stills the punt returner. Here's Robert Flores back in our studio.
Sean, not over in Lincoln, not by a stretch. Here come the Huskers. Rex Burkhead from in close. They went for 2 and got it. Northwestern still leads, but it's 21-18. 5 minutes to go in Lincoln.
a lot of game here there yet to play. 5 minutes.
No, you!
12 seconds left in the third quarter here. Landry Jones hands it off to Roy Finch. That'll end the third quarter. Oklahoma outscored A&M 28-0 in the third quarter. Oklahoma scored 4 touchdowns, while A&M had 4 punts, 2 interceptions, and a missed field goal. Heading to the fourth quarter in Norman, a 31-point lead for the number 6 team in the nation. We welcome you back to Norman, Oklahoma, where the Sooners are leading Texas A&M 41-10. As we continue Dr. Pepper's road to the championships. Oklahoma with a road to a Big 12 title in its own control. If they can win out, they'll be the Big 12 champs. Texas A&M team that had high hopes not only to be a Big 12 contender, but also to be in the national championship picture. Roy Finch carries on the first play of the fourth quarter for a yard, and that's all. And Matt, this A&M team is going to have to rank as one of the biggest disappointments in the country. It'll be 4 losses if this stays this way, as you would expect it would. Yeah, regardless of how you lost them. And they've been in all of them, and they've had chances to win all of them. They've come up on the short end. They have a talented roster. They had 18 starters back from the team that won 9 games last year, 10 of 11 on offense. Had some key injuries. And give this defense credit today. Landry Jones under pressure again. They've gotten after him a lot of the day. Finch tackled in space by Jonathan Stewart. You see 41 points, you just think that Landry Jones gouged him, but he really hasn't. He's thrown for 220, which is his second lowest output of the year. You know, Sean, one of the things that they've enjoyed is great field position all game long. They've had a short field. They've taken a couple of shots, and they've converted on them. We talked about how statistically they're last in the country in pass defense and passing yards per game allowed, 318 for A&M. But to be fair about it, when you think about they play in this conference against all these pass-happy teams, with some of the best passing teams in the country, like Oklahoma State, if they already played, Baylor, now Oklahoma. And those teams play at a fast tempo, so you're facing more and more snaps than other teams would as well. Those stats are a little bit skewed. Punt down at the 24, but there is a flag on the play.
I think the thing that's hurt them the most, John, is all the injuries on defense.
Too many players in the backfield. 5 yards will be added to the end of the kick. First down.
And we mentioned that they're last in the country in pass defense, but the average defense faces 32 passes from their opponent at the FBS level per game, and A&M on average has faced 43.5. It's about 33% more. So when you're facing a third more passes than most of the teams in the country, you're going to give up more passing yardage, especially when you're doing it against talented offensive teams, passing teams that play fast and snap the ball quickly. And those are just the ones we're talking about in the losses where they've thrown a lot of yards. The other games are when they have big leads and teams are thrown to try to get back into it. They're not as bad as the numbers would indicate, but still, it's been a disappointing year, and Tim DeRuyter, by his own admission, said the pass defense has not been good. But I don't think you'd say this is the worst pass defensive team in the country. Well, they re-kicked, and Everything's going Oklahoma's way here in the second half as they benefit from the mulligan. Best way sends it down to the 19-yard line where Joseph Ibiloye downed it. 53-yard punt into the wind.
This Veterans Day, live on the flight deck of the USS Carl Vinson, Michigan State faces #1 ranked North Carolina in the Quicken Loans Carrier Classic. The season takes flight November 11th, 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and ESPN 3D.
I think that's great, Sean. I think that is awesome. You know, I had a great opportunity to go on a USO tour this spring. And I'll tell you, our troops, they love their sports. And of all the sports, I got to say, they love football. It's off the charts. But that basketball game, that'll be well appreciated. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. Cyrus Gray carries. Of course, you have a son serving in our military. Your son-in-law is here today.
My daughter, yep, sitting over here. West Point grads and played at West Point. In fact, he set the all-time rushing record for West Point. And Colin Mooney from Katy, Texas.
Yeah, he's been watching the Army game on TV here in our booth. Not happy that Air Force has rallied from behind to take the lead over Army. Brian Swope, the intended receiver. Aaron Colvin has had a very good game for Oklahoma, knocked it down. 3rd down and 5 for Texas A&M. Ryan Tannehill still in there. Tannehill's thrown for 221, just 18 for 44. Outstanding student at A&M, has already graduated a degree in biology, 3.6 GPA. Giving time to throw, has his man Gray out of the backfield. Tackled by Jaden Bird, 1st down. Tannehill is one of these 16 players from all over the country, all levels of college football, who will go to New York in early December to the Waldorf Astoria College Football Foundation Hall of Fame dinner. He's one of the 16 finalists for the Campbell Trophy, which is known as the Heisman of college football academics, the academic Heisman. Gray carries across the 40. You think of all the players in all of college football, he's 16 selected, and Tannehill's one of the finalists. That's a tremendous honor.
He's an impressive young man, and Sean, you and I have had this conversation. I think he kind of flies under the radar when they have the conversations for the really good quarterbacks in the NCAA. And I think today was not one of his better games, but he's a good player.
Ryan Swope, a nice catch, breaks a tackle, and is finally taken down by Joseph Ibiloye at the 39-yard line, gain of 19. Of course, when Tannehill came here, he was in a battle to be their starting quarterback, but wound up as number 3. So they wanted to use his athleticism. He played wide receiver for a couple years and was extraordinarily productive. Finally got a chance to be the starting quarterback last year, the middle of the year, and did not relinquish it.
You know, and keep in mind, you mentioned it, he doesn't have a lot of experience as a quarterback. So every rep is just another one that filed and banked, and he'll continue to get better and better and better. He's seeing a lot of things this year that he hadn't seen a year ago. Just continue to grow.
Also the only player who's ever had a 400-yard passing game and a 200-yard receiving game. Excellent athlete. He gives it to Gray. Colvin drags him down with help from Travis Lewis. Short of the 1st down by about 3. Mike Sherman, who certainly has plenty of NFL experience, compared Ryan Tannehill, when we talked the other day, to Andy Dalton, the former TCU quarterback, who's faring very well as a rookie now with the Cincinnati Bengals. He said he reminds me a lot of Andy Dalton, but I think if anything, Ryan has a stronger arm than Andy Dalton.
You know, the one trait that they both have that's really showing up for Dalton, which serves him well, is the game never gets too big for him. Tannehill has that same trait.
Gray carried for the 1st down, so the Aggies are on the move. Down by 31 points with under 11 minutes to go. Draw. Cyrus Gray might be reminiscent of last year when he saw much more action after his good friend Kristen Michael broke his leg. Michael injured in this game. He was escorted off to the locker room.
Yeah, we've been talking about Travis Lewis. You see him there, number 28. And one thing about Travis, we've mentioned that he's a smart player. He's a studier. But he's a tough sucker too. He refuses to come out of the game regardless of what happens to him.
And it shows you the respect that coaches have for the opponent. I mean, it's a 31-point game. I think most people watching this game would think the outcome is no longer in doubt. Why have Travis Lewis and some of the others in the game, especially when he's playing with a broken toe? But these Oklahoma coaches are well aware of the explosiveness of this A&M offense. It isn't very likely, but it's possible. And as long as it's possible, they're going to do everything they can to make sure it doesn't happen. Ben Molina's in at running back now, their third string running back. Tannehill throws. Good catch. Won't pay the price. He got leveled by DeMontre Hurst, but it is a first down.
Swope's just a junior, built like a running back because he was a running back. But he'll play a lot of football. He'll play here, finish up what he's going to do at A&M. Just a junior. But at the next level, he's going to be another kind of have a little bit of Ed Podolak in him. Remember Ed with the Kansas City Chiefs? Same type of guy, very versatile. Can play outside, play inside. Good football player.
Do you think Swope will be a slot receiver?
No, he'll be a utility
Molina
guy.
heading toward the end zone. Touchdown. 16 yards on the run by Molina. With just 7 carries for the season entering today's game. This is his first touchdown for the sophomore from Cedar Hill, Texas. And a nice drive by the Aggies as they go 81 yards in 12 plays. Randy Bullock for the extra point, and it's 41-17. .9:49 remaining here in Norman, Oklahoma.
ESPN's College Football on ABC. Brought to you by K Jewelers, the #1 jewelry store in America. Every kiss begins with K. Lexus, it's time to engineer amazing. And Taco Bell, think outside the bun.
Well, let's look at some of the great exhibits at the Oklahoma Museum of Natural History, which is located right here in Norman. Exhibits include a Native American gallery, collection of fossils and dinosaur skeletons, not only from Oklahoma, but from throughout the entire planet. Who knew? I didn't know. I knew the National Weather Center was here, but this would be a great place for the Griswolds to come on a vacation. There's a lot to do here in Norman.
With Graham still tied to the roof of their car.
Unfortunately, she didn't survive, and she is missed. Randy Bullock kicks it through the end zone. We send you back to Robert Flores. Help us, Row Flow.
All right, Sean, I'll do what I can. It appears that Northwestern has sealed this deal against Nebraska. 7 minutes, 21 seconds is that touchdown drive. Kane Coulter sneaks it in, and Northwestern is going to go into Lincoln and win against Nebraska 28-18. That's good news for Michigan State.
Yes. In divisional play here in the new format of the Big Ten, with Nebraska having joined the league.
And of course, they'll go to Penn State next week.
Nebraska will.
Nebraska will, in a very angry mood.
It's a tough result to figure. But there are a lot of those in college football, which is why when you start to say, well, this team, like Oklahoma, they have no chance of being in the national championship picture, you can't say that because you just don't know what's going to happen week to week, and there are still way too many games to be played. Blake Bell is in there now. And their Wildcat quarterback today takes over for Landry Jones. Bell has scored 2 touchdowns. He's carried 8 times for 29 yards. Faked it to Reynolds on the fly sweep. And Bell goes to the 27. Here's the key remaining games for the 5 teams ahead of Oklahoma. Oklahoma's number 6 in the BCS standings. Of course, LSU. Are they playing Alabama tonight? I haven't heard much about it.
I'm not sure.
That's tonight. That kind of snuck up on us. They also have Arkansas still ahead. Alabama still has to go to Mississippi State and Auburn. Oklahoma State at Texas Tech, although suddenly that doesn't seem quite as tough. They have K-State tonight. And Oklahoma in the Bedlam game, then the regular season. Stanford 3 tough games, but all at home. Oregon, Cal, and Notre Dame. Boise State still has TCU and Wyoming. But Oklahoma's going to need a Stanford loss. And we'll talk more about it when we come back. Timeout called by Oklahoma with 3rd and 3 upcoming. They lead by 24. Back at Oklahoma Memorial Stadium, which is rapidly emptying. The outcome not in doubt. That certainly wasn't the case at the half when it was 13-10 Oklahoma. But 4 touchdowns in the 3rd quarter. And they lead 41-17. They scored those 4 touchdowns in a span of 6 minutes, 48 seconds. Landry Jones back in there for 3rd and 3. Finds Jazz Reynolds. Nice run after the catch to the 44-yard line. The game summary was brought to you by our dear friends at Pacific Life.
Landry Jones is staying in there.
And anxious to get another snap. One uncork one. And he finds Trey Franks. He took a pretty good hit. Not sure if I'm an Oklahoma fan, I'm thrilled about our Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback being out there. And that's the kind you can get hurt on.
Tim
Montre
DeRuyter
Moore made the hit on him.
Tim DeRuyter hasn't backed down from his blitzing ways either.
Well, if you want to keep your starting quarterback in there and keep throwing it, why not keep coming after him? Jones is thrown for 251, under 50%. Although getting closer to it now, 18 for 38 with a completion to Reynolds.
Sean, we were talking a little bit earlier about Northwestern going into Lincoln and beating Nebraska, and then talking about the merits of having the tougher schedules, and that's really what ends up hurting a team like Boise. And their schedule, and of course not their fault. They don't. The players, I should say, isn't their fault. They play the teams that are lined up for them, but week in and week out, when you're playing schedules like these teams are, A&M, what they did, and Big Ten schedules and SEC schedules, every week it's brutal. And it's a pounding week in and week out.
Well, it'll be interesting if it ends that way. And they're quite likely Boise State to get the end of the regular season undefeated. And then there'll likely be a discussion about whether they're more deserving of being in the national championship game than a one-loss team that has played a much tougher schedule.
And it's tough because I think Boise's a really good football team with
and
some
proven
good
it
players.
Year in and year out. They did it again at the beginning of this year when they went down to Georgia and won against a Georgia team that looks pretty good right now.
Kellen Moore keeps on doing what he does, and defensively they're physical and they play good football up there. And I think that coach is the best coach in the country.
Blake Bell back in on 3rd down and 3, and they stack him up. This A&M defense has held Oklahoma below and well below its average total yardage of 564 yards per game. Oklahoma has 404 today. The turnovers really hurt, make the defensive performance look worse because the point total, a lot of it set up by those short fields with the takeaways and the punts into the wind. In fact, this is the 8th punt that A&M has forced from.
Timeout, Oklahoma. That's their 2nd timeout of the half.
From Tress Way. 5:34 to go. Back at Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. Record crowd here today, 85,709. Every game of the Bob Stoops era has been sold out. That's 79 in a row now, dating back to 1999. The biggest crowd ever here. Also expanded the capacity of the stadium by almost 10,000 since Stoops has been the coach. Ways punt down by Jazz Reynolds near the 5-yard line. Well, with that win last week in Martinsville, Tony Stewart has moved up to second place in the chase. He's only 8 points behind Carl Edwards. He's been talking this week, letting Edwards know that he should be worried about him. And why wouldn't you be worried about him when he's only 8 points behind? Stewart, a two-time NASCAR champ. The chase continues for the NASCAR Sprint Cup at Texas tomorrow, 3 Eastern on ESPN. Coverage starting at 2 o'clock. It's NASCAR Countdown presented by Napa. We'll give you a lot of Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
That's a catchy little tune. Hudson preload the catch and a first down, 11-yard gain. There are the standings. Did you watch the race last night at all?
With the trucks?
I think it's the trucks, yeah. That Kyle Busch.
I like him.
Road rage issue last night.
I think he's a linebacker in disguise.
He just ran that Hornaday Jr. right into the wall just because he could and wanted to. That guy is goofy. Of course, he'd be just another driver in Boston, but it's just rush hour back home. Jeff Fuller the catch. Jamel Fleming took him out of bounds. 27-yard line and another first down, under 5 minutes to go. Aggies had a nice scoring drive moments ago, trying to do it again. Ryan Tannehill still in there. And another catch by Fuller. He was driven back. They're going to give him forward progress beyond the first down marker. Another 11-yard pickup.
Sean, all these receivers from A&M really haven't gotten open a bunch. I thought Jamel Fleming, who's down on a knee right there, I thought he's played an outstanding game, as did DeMontre Hurst on the other side. I thought their secondary overall played very well today.
Let's hope both teams get through the rest of this without anybody else getting hurt. Of course, the Sooner fans will be holding their breath to get the news on just exactly what it is, the injury suffered by Ryan Broyles, their All-American wide receiver, perhaps the best in the country. So that's a big debate in this state with Justin Blackman, last year's Blitnikoff Award winner, up the road in Stillwater. He'll be on display tonight on ABC against Kansas State. Huge game tonight there. Tannehill, deep ball, and incomplete. Boy, Fuller was behind the defense and just had no speed at all.
Yeah, it looks like he got a little bump there midway through, but take a look at what happened today just in terms of guys getting beat up, and these are significant players.
Yeah, these are stars. Michael and Broyles for sure. Michael on his way, was on his way. We don't know what the future will be the rest of the season, to a 1,000-yard season. Broyles, the all-time leading receiver in the history of major college football. Tannehill throws, and a good catch. Hurst there to make the tackle on Malcolm Kennedy. An 18-yard completion to the redshirt freshman. Just his 5th catch of the year.
There's Tom Bork, the middle linebacker, next to Travis Lewis, who's fighting off that broken
Would you be
toe.
encouraged by the fact that Ward's been out there standing on the sideline?
Yeah, I would. And I think he would like to go in. He might miss a week, but I don't.
Nice move by Cyrus Gray. And a first down. They're marching downfield again briskly. Ronell Lewis made the tackle. A lot of starters still in there on this Oklahoma defense, trying to stop the Aggies, but they are moving crisply again. 11-yard gain on the last play. 3:40 to go and the clock running. Barring a very dramatic turn of events here, A&M is going to see its 5-game road winning streak come to an end. Malcolm Kennedy again. Swung out of bounds by Sam Proctor inside the 10-yard line. First and goal.
Try to bring a little pressure off the side with the corner. You can see him coming, number 14 right there, and well blocked up front, and he's able to find Kennedy for the big first down.
This is not against the scrubs here. Not that these teams have scrubs at this level. Your 2s and 3s are pretty good most of the time. Gray tried to spin away and could not. There's another starter, Aaron Colvin, in there to make the tackle.
That Colvin's one of those players. You mentioned him earlier, Sean, about his versatility. He can play corner. In fact, he's actually a pretty good corner cover guy. They can drop him down, which is a great asset when you're a safety. Doesn't always come down and jump up on the slot receiver when they have him in those situations, but he certainly can do it.
Sophomore, and Brent Venables telling me a lot of the most talented players in that defense are sophomores. That defense just gave up a touchdown on the pass to Cyrus Gray. It might be too little too late for the Aggies, but they are going to fight all the way to the finish. 2:37 to go. It's 41-23. And he did stay in bounds.
It's a good effort to get inside the cone and pick it up. And I'd expect that you'd see an onside kick here. I mean, what's the difference? May as well take your shot.
Going to go for 2, it seems. And that makes sense.
16.
Yeah, 16. Then it's a two-score game. Tannehill throws. It's caught. Is it in bounds? No. Kennedy caught it, but it was out of bounds. They're protesting, and now the officials are going to talk about it.
Yeah, I'd like to see that one because it looks like he made the catch. See if his feet get down or any part before he touches out of bounds. There's the catch. Ooh, boy. Now, you can see, I don't know if he had control of it all the way through because the defender was still fighting with it. He's down.
Where's the ball? He has the ball.
He has the ball.
He has control. So then the question is, was he in bounds? And I thought from the first couple of looks he was. Certainly they'll review it in the booth. Yeah,
when does he have
first thing to touch, and it's down in bounds?
The question then, Sean, would be when did he have control? Did he have control before he was out of bounds completely? Because he's fighting with it right there. Now let's see
but
the
even
official.
Simultaneous catch goes to the receiver, right?
Yeah. He's eyeballing it all the way through.
Mike Sherman wondering. Imagine this is being reviewed even as we speak.
One thing about Mike Sherman and his play calls, what I really like about him, he just disregards the hashes. He's not afraid to run things into the short side of the field. He'll call plays from any place on the field.
Was an incomplete pass. Texas A&M is challenging the call.
I would hope it would just be reviewed as part of the regular process. I mean, it is a difference because it's a 2-score game. If they give him the 2, it's not if they don't.
Okay, let's see. Now, he's in bounds. When does he have control? Because let's assume that he landed in bounds. The official had to see if he maintained control, and when did he have control all the way through. So I don't know if he had control right there, Sean, when he went out of bounds. Oh, from that side, it looks like he may have.
Does. Yeah, I mean, it's tough, and because of the ruling on the field being incomplete, it has to be conclusive to overturn it. And I think he keeps possession of the ball. It isn't rolling around. Just not sure it's indisputable to overturn it.
Yeah.
Great effort, though, by Kennedy. His 2 catches today, 6 for his freshman season. They go 95 yards on that drive after the 81-yard touchdown drive their last possession. Did it 9 plays to go the 95 this time. Tannehill was 7 for 8 on the drive, including an 8-yard touchdown pass to Cyrus Gray. So Tannehill's up to 352 yards, a lot of it after the outcome was not really in doubt.
When this game is over, they're going to look back and they're going to say one of these offenses put 500 yards of total offense up, and one of those teams won by, with 41 points on the board. You're going to say, oh, it was Oklahoma. It's not.
Well, when you're -3 in turnovers, and that's the situation today for Mike Sherman, More often than not, you're going to lose, especially on the road against one of the best teams in the country. All right, here comes the announcement.
After further video review, it's determined that the receiver's knee hit first in the end zone. Therefore, the 2 points is good. Kickoff.
Good challenge.
Yeah, I agree with it. I just feel for Mike Sherman that he'll use a timeout. I mean, the process should take care of that itself. And he'll get the timeout back.
Well, that's a heck of a catch by Kennedy.
It was, and I'm not sure it was indisputable, but sometimes it seems in these rulings it's indisputable enough. It certainly looked like the right call. Did they get the onside kick? The ball was there. They couldn't get it in bounds. Wow, it was there for the taking. Wachaku, Brandel Jackson, 2 wide receivers, theoretically with good hands, over there along the boundary. You see the competitiveness in Mike Sherman. Still very much into this game. It was right there.
Oh, he had.
Couldn't catch it in the air, and all he had to do was squeeze it. Yeah, he's basically dropped into his lap.
You see that coach on the sideline? I don't know who that coach was, but he felt it the whole time. Now they'd have to determine, did he have control of that thing at all before it went out of bounds? Now they're going to drop the flag.
Yeah.
The only team to touch the ball was the kicking team. Ball went out of bounds. Ball goes over to the receiving team, plus a 5-yard penalty. 1st and 10.
Well, it couldn't have been much better for Texas A&M. One man with a clear shot at it, and it's one of their guys. Coaches.
Yeah. Watch
we
right there.
got it. We've
it's
got
ours.
it.
It's ours.
It's
yes.
perfect.
It's
no. What is it?
It's an emotional game, isn't it?
Landry Jones back on the field with a 2-score game now. He's trying to run out the clock. Roy Finch stopped for a loss, and A&M is going to use its timeouts. Demontre Moore made the tackle.
Sean, stranger things have happened.
Indeed. Tuesday night, don't miss an all-new episode of ABC's #1 new comedy, Last Man Standing. Tim Allen's a man among women, a lot of women, raising 3 daughters. It's Last Man Standing, Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on ABC. Of course, speaking of Last Man Standing, there'll be a lot said tonight about which team will be the last team standing at the end of this college football season when LSU and Alabama meet. They tell us they're playing tonight. I think you're the only person left in America from whom our audience has not heard on this game. What do you think about tonight?
I think obviously I think it's going to be a great game. 2 great defenses. I think the difference will be Trent Richardson. I think Alabama is a real physical football team. I think they're physical defensively in their front 7 and also in their run game. I think that'll be the difference.
Yeah, 2 physical teams, 2 enormously talented teams, especially on defense, well coached. Great atmosphere. It's everything you'd hope for in a game. A lot of great action as well on the ESPN networks and ABC. Blake Bell, the ball carrier. A&M used another timeout, down to 1 now with 2:28 to go. So another good win for Oklahoma against an A&M team that was ranked for a year until they fell out of the rankings after losing in overtime last week at home to Missouri. Tough games left, Matt, but when you're in Oklahoma's situation, you need to impress. You kind of hope for an opportunity to make an impression against good opponents at Baylor, Iowa State here, and then that game in Stillwater on December 3rd on ABC. That'll be another one of the biggest games of this college football season.
Yeah, it really will. And talk about high pace, A lot of offense, balls in the air. Again, that's going to be which defense can keep them in the game.
You just wonder, will Ryan Broyles be available? Blake Bell. Because even in this state, we talked yesterday to a lot of the Oklahoma players about which receiving core is better. Here you have Broyles and Stills and emerging Jazz Reynolds. Up the road you have Blackman and Cooper in the slot, and Anium, who got hurt but is a very talented player. And Tony Jefferson of the defense of Oklahoma said to us, I go against our receivers every day. Let me tell you, our guys are the best. And he said that with all due respect to the Cowboys.
Yeah, he had great respect for those receivers down at Oklahoma State. Had a lot of good things to say about them.
Fourth down and 8. A&M now out of timeouts. Tressway will punt into the wind. Dustin Harris is back there. That one goes into the end zone. So the Aggies down by 16 points. Will start from the 20 with no timeouts. 2:16 to go after another update from Robert Flores.
Sean, this isn't a football update. This is an update on the ponies. Breeders' Cup Classic. Drosselmeyer, who won the Belmont Stakes last year, comes from behind to beat Game On Dude, the winning jockey Mike Smith, the second place jockey, his ex-girlfriend Chantal Sutherland. Interesting, huh?
Ex-girlfriend.
Sean, this group here,
Yeah, they've had fun today with that little.
They have been on it all game long. That little board, those messages have been pretty darn funny.
Tannehill throws, caught by Jeff Fuller, out of bounds, 28-yard line, 8-yard gain. Jamel Fleming in coverage.
Minutes, he's going to have to push the ball down the field.
Yes, and no timeouts. They go short again. Malcolm Kennedy the catch, 34-yard line, tackled immediately by Ibiloye. They're kind of trotting up to the line.
Yeah, got to quicken it up.
Needing 2-8s, they really do need to quicken it up. You probably have to take a chance on a deep throw here sooner or later. Tannehill to Kennedy, stood up right at that yellow line, first down. Corey Nelson and Javon Harris high-load him. It is a first down based on the mark by the far official. Not sure he got that far beyond the line, but it was a good spot. Line of scrimmage, the 44, 1:35 to go. Tannehill throws deep, incomplete. In the direction of Fuller with DeMontre Hurst.
Looks like that could have been offensive interference there, Sean, didn't it?
You know, we mentioned the case for Oklahoma as a one-loss team. Brad Edwards talked about a lot of things that would help their cause if Florida State keeps winning. Early in the year, that looked like a huge win down at Florida State. Then the Seminoles lost a few more. Lately, they've come back. If they could finish strong, it'll help Oklahoma and the computers. Lamont the catch. He's in bounds. Gino Grissom made the tackle. Because if Oklahoma winds up as a one-loss team, but you have LSU there or Alabama with one loss against the other.
Depending
you have
on
an
how
Oregon
it goes
team
tonight.
that could be a one-loss team, and it was against LSU. I mean, that one loss that Oklahoma has is going to look really bad because it was home to Texas Tech, a team that's been horrible in the 2 weeks since they won in upset fashion here. Hicks couldn't catch that ball. So their one loss is going to be a lot uglier than some of the other one-loss teams that might be in that equation.
And now we got a fourth down, and if you're sitting at home thinking, why don't they push the ball down the field? It's because Oklahoma's not allowing them to. They're keeping the top of their coverage on, and the underneath coverage has been pretty good. Here's their fourth down.
Tannehill to keep hope alive. It's dropped. Wachiku, who couldn't catch the onside kick, couldn't catch that one either. And that will eliminate any doubt.
They just sit right down in the hole, right where he needs to be. The ball's where it has to be. Hits him right in the number. He allows it to get into his pads.
The 64th pass of the game for Tannehill, who will wind up completing exactly 50%. 32 for 64 for 379. He threw 2 touchdowns, but he also threw 3 interceptions, and really that was the biggest story of the game, the 3 interceptions and the lost fumble. And just the 1 takeaway for A&M today, only 7 takeaways for that defense all year long. In 9 games, they're going to fall to 5-4. Overall, the huge disappointment. They'll go to 3-3 in their last year in the Big 12. They'll head off to the SEC. And it's another sad aspect of realignment. This is a rivalry that dates back to 1903. They've played every year since '96 when they formed the Big 12, and who knows when they'll play again. Landry Jones takes a knee. And Oklahoma will go to 8-1 and 5-1 in the Big 12 as the date with Oklahoma State on December 3rd draws nearer. Here's Heather Cox.
Coach, you came in with a tremendous amount of respect for A&M. Ultimately, how did you guys separate yourselves?
Well, you know, we just really got it going here in the third quarter. We knew it was going to be tough. You know, all their losses so far have been really tight and tough games. They've been ahead in the fourth quarter. Fortunately, we played a really solid game, really all the way around.
Coach, enjoy it. Congratulations on the win.
A win for Oklahoma. Sooner fans will keep their fingers crossed about Ryan Broyles. 41-25 is the final. For Matt Millen, Heather Cox, and our crew, Sean McDonough, so long from Norman, Oklahoma. Let's send you back to the studio.